Once again, it's on. It is Friday evening. It's 7 p.m. This is your boy, Mo Delgado. Welcome to the show. This is the New Norm 2.0 with your boy, the sexiest man in this chair right now, Mo Delgado. Hope everybody's well. I hope his life is really inspiring to you these days because I tell you, it's really difficult to navigate through the bullshit. Recently, we've had to experience the reality of that life is so short in so many of our lives. I'd like to first off extend my condolences to all the families that have suffered a loss in the past week. It was the last time you and I were on the same page, or you and I were here. So I'd like to extend condolences to all the families that suffered a loss. It's extremely hard to try to navigate life and not be affected by all the stuff that's happened and transpired.
All the families that suffered the loss.
It's extreme. So, I want you to know that we are with you. All the people who share space with us in this world, all the people who share life with us. I know it's really difficult. I pray that you can find some peace. I pray that clarity can come in your heart, and you can get through this, because the unfortunate truth is
all the families
death is actually part of life. So as I'm trying to put everything together, y'all, and I'm trying to make sure everything is good, so whoever is willing to come by can come by. And forgive me, y'all. Again, I'm always apologizing for things coming last minute, or last minute preparations that should be taken care of. I'm trying to make things a little easier for this whole navigation process to take place. My technical team is out on the field. You like that, right? On the field, they're buying some food. Buying a lottery ticket. And if you haven't bought yours today, it is 7:00. You have roughly about 3 hours to buy that Mega Millions ticket. It's up at $515 million. 515 million reasons that $3. I say tree because it's only $2 for the ticket, but the $1 for that multiplier, because in case you don't hit all the numbers, and if you hit a few numbers, that multiplies. So I'm sending all the positive vibes to everyone out there who's purchased tickets, who's purchased a ticket, and who has a dream, and go out there. I pray that you're able to find some victory, find some winning balance in your attempt to get the ticket. But let me let you know now, I'm making sure I'm keeping a whole lot of great vibrations for me, because I'm winning that, Mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm winning that one. 515 million reasons. Trust me, that means 515 million ways that I can make life better. Not only for myself, of course, but for my family, my community, my surroundings, and life in general as a human being. So don't forget, Mega Millions tonight, $515 million. New Jersey Lottery, the lottery itself that runs and manages. You guys can send a check here to us for this promotion at the New Norm 2.0. You can reach us all at New Norm 2.0 on Instagram, on the New Norm 2.0 on Twitter. Let me make sure I put it up on the screen so folks, you understand, so nobody can say nothing. So let me make sure I put it up there so you guys can understand. You could always follow us. You may be interested in contacting us. Bam, there it go. So you're welcome to hit us up there, or you can hit us directly. 609-464-0736. That's my phone number. I am the chief executive producer, chief executive officer. I'm the big dog in the chair right now. I got a team, and I got an awesome team to help me put this all together. So moving forward, let's talk a little bit about some of the issues that we've talked about or we've seen today. Let's go from a national standpoint. We're seeing that the CDC is opening up opportunities for people to interpret freedom, for lack of another term. You feel now that because CDC is saying it's okay to be in indoor sessions and outdoor sessions without mask, it's okay. You're finally free of the virus. I'm here to tell you, no, you're not. The virus still exists. It's an unfortunate truth. Sandy, yo, I see you, Sandy. um, so let me put this in a clipboard. Let me send this out so folks can tag on a little bit later on. Even with CDC's last claims, there's still a lot of questionable data that still haven't been evaluated. There's still a lot of evaluation still taking place with the vaccines, Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson and Johnson. It reads Janssen, but it's Johnson. I was able to get a little bit more comfortable information on the comparison of the viruses themselves. I mean, not the viruses, I'm sorry, the vaccines, forgive me. And there were certain factors that just made it a little bit more clear to me about certain things. The mRNA, two of them, Pfizer and Moderna, are mRNA. They create a protein that makes it appear to be the virus, and your body naturally builds the immunity or the antibodies against it. The other one, I forgot exactly the term. If I can recall the video, I'm going to pull up the video. I watched the video yesterday. Really informative. It was a doctor. And it was another form that's probably one of the data that basically makes Moderna and Pfizer stand out of the three is not only the success rate, efficacy rates, where Moderna and Pfizer are up at 94, 96%, where the efficacy rate of Janssen Janssen is at 54%. That right there gives you a certain perspective. Also, the amount of what had happened after the fact, as in post-vaccine illnesses or outcomes, that symptomatic incidences where blood clotting was an issue, Johnson and Johnson. We saw that with one death. Tinnitus is another one. There's some other illnesses that are going to be involved, but Moderna and Pfizer both are at 100% with no outcomes after the said date. Moderna is after 7 days. Pfizer, I think, is after 14 days. You have the fullest extent of vaccination. You're covered for vaccination at that point in time. Now, remember, this doesn't give you superhuman powers to protect you that you can't catch the virus. This actually makes your body stronger. So if you do catch the virus, you don't succumb to the symptoms. You don't succumb to the virus itself. It helps you to fight it. So again, the vaccine itself is not to eradicate or to make you free from catching COVID-19 and or carry it and pass on COVID-19 to someone who probably doesn't have it or may have had it before and is vaccinated also. But it makes your body stronger so you can fight it so it doesn't kill you. However, if you have ongoing symptoms, if you have ongoing health issues, these are things that you need to be concerned on also, because this is a coronary concern. This attacks the blood. This attacks the cells in the system. It makes it really difficult for you to breathe. So all these functions get attacked by this virus. So as we're moving closer to understanding it more, we understand that ultimately the optimal resolution for all this is to make sure that not only you possibly get vaccinated and the proper one, you have to look into it. Knowing your body, the conditions that you're living in, and to have optimal health. Included in all that stuff is to make sure that your hygiene is good. Remember, y'all got some nasty people out here do all kinds of nasty stuff, not concerned with the hygiene, the bacteria that's shared, not concerned about how it impacts others. You got some nasty individuals blowing snot rockets, not washing their hands. Dudes, y'all going out there in the bathroom, touching yourselves, going to the bathroom, not washing your hands, coming out, touching everything. You know what it is. You know how it is. You know who you are out there. Do what you can to be a lot more clean. Clean yourself. Make sure. And understand that hand sanitizer alone doesn't do it. You have to wash your hands. Hand sanitizer compacts and it attracts other bacteria. You could have all kinds of shit living on your hands, and you thinking that Purell is going to do it for you. No, it's not the case. And don't go crazy like some people and think that bleach does it, because people have made the mistake under the direction and or suggestion of our former president, Sergeant Orange, to drink that deadly substance called bleach, and some people have done it. So don't do it. Do what you can. Know the truth. Get the information. Don't go solely on what other people say, including us. Get as much information you possibly can, and then if you feel comfortable in getting vaccinated, get it. You don't have to explain to anyone else why. We're not looking at you, and they should not look at you like you're a villain, you did something wrong, or you added to the conspiracy that the world is, the man is trying to kill you and Bill Gates this and Bill Gates that. It is not our right to persecute you for the decisions that you made in your body. It's your body. Whatever you do, it's your business. And I hope that you do and hope you make a good decision, something that you're comfortable with. We have yet to find out if it's a good decision, but we're hoping that ultimately everything that's been done is clear of any taint. It wasn't intended to implant microchips in you. It's not intended for population control. All those factors are not real. We're hoping that just, the remnants of bad stories and late night horror movies that we watched in our minds. That's our field correspondent, Patch, making noise like he always does when my family comes in from outside. Yo, Patch, no, yo, oh yeah. Field correspondent. Sometimes they go out there and crazy, especially them four-legged ones. Boy, they be bugging. So later on, as we develop the system, the studio is expanding. We're probably gonna have Patch Cam, like my man on his YouTube channel. He has his own cam for the dog. As I tell you, my dog has the characteristics and have a personality like no other. So I hope that you have an understanding as far as that's concerned. Again, this is the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. I'm your boy, the sexiest man in this chair. I have to say this to you. I got to remind you, if you didn't notice this already, the sexiest man in this chair. That's what I am. Damn it. Even if it's just me saying it, if it makes you feel good, I don't care. It's about feeling good. So, folks, I hope that you're really, truly enjoying your opportunities to be able to be outside, to enjoy the sun, the air, each other. 'Tis the season to make changes in your life. God has given us opportunities through COVID-19 to hit the reset button. However, certain things don't need to be reset, just done so in a more safe way. You want to go enjoy yourselves, go out there. Go out there in the sun. Go out there, enjoy yourself. Take a walk. You want to play some ball, play some ball. But understand, COVID-19 still exists outside of other illnesses that have yet to be eradicated. One I'd like to mention is cancer. Folks, too many of us are succumbing to cancer. Cancer is yet still a vivid horror that lives in the lives of too many, including my own. I've had family members that passed away from cancer, and they still, the presence still lives within us, but the void of them is still hurtful. And if there's a way we can keep pushing all science and all scientists and all the politicians in the world, all the leaders in the world, to keep pushing for eradication of cancer or find some solutions for cancer, let's keep doing it. Don't forget those who are suffering or fighting and battling cancer day to day. Some of us are out here and doing it quietly. We don't want to tell anyone. We're not sharing our pains. One is because we're too proud. We don't want to share our weakness with the public. Some of us are so proud, or some of us are so secluded in our minds that we think no one cares. Whatever your disposition in the situation, just know that we do care. So take care of yourselves, folks. Cancer is a real truth. And let's keep in mind all the family members who have suffered a loss. For all of you who are struggling through realities of cancer, just hold on and keep fighting with those who are fighting that disease, and let's fight with them. Now let's talk some shop. Let's talk some things. Recently, well, first off, let's talk about something outside of the CDC and then the masks. That there's opportunities are coming about throughout the entire community, through the nation, for you to enjoy yourselves a little bit more. Housing, it's expected in New Jersey alone. It's saying an exorbitant amount of individuals. They're saying a high 40 percentile of residents of New Jersey who are renters and or homeowners are right now facing potential homelessness. And it's really sad because of the way the economy is and the way things have gone and how people aren't able to make those payments to afford them payments. So we know that the governor, President Biden has had a protection plan to absolve anyone from the threat of being kicked out of their homes because they're not able to pay up to 2 months past when we are totally clear of the virus. So I don't know how they're going to make such a wide brushstroke of a statement saying we're clear of it, but it'll be 2 months past that to help you see if you can continue on without the concern or the threat. So that as far as housing is concerned. Employment-wise, this is the season for anybody who, like myself, live in a tourist town, live near the shore. This is when employers tend to hire the majority of their staffing for the season. So make sure that if you are looking for a job, do what you can. Don't be afraid of getting that job because working is essential. It's part of it. And it's not only a part of the economic circles and the economics or the whole the economy that we're all a part of and the ecosystem of your family members and stuff who depend on it. It's good for your mental health. When you have the repetitive sustainability in your life, it helps you to be stable in your mind. You don't have so much of a stress. So it helps you, the continuity of being able to go back and forth to work, to understand that you have a job, that you have a paycheck. It helps in your mental health, helps you to sustain past all the woes that most people
residents
who are
of New
not
Jersey
blessed
who are
by
renters
succumb to it. So, so it's something that's helpful. In addition to, let's be realistic, this pandemic hasn't opened up the floodgates to great opportunities, but it opens up opportunities nonetheless. So if you got to work 1 or 2 jobs, do what you got to do. Right now, it's about recovery. So we're in a state of recovery. So if you have a lot of bills to be paying, if there's opportunity for you to make money, make that money, but do it legally, y'all. Please do it legally. But the grind is real. So some of you have amazing skills that you can earn some income from. And what I mean is the artistry that you create, t-shirts, shirts, clothing, furniture. Some of you are mechanics or wonderful mechanics. Some of you are wonderful chefs, bakers, seamstress, tailors, all of it, or you have some sort of gifts that you can earn from. This is a good time to do so. Share it with the public and let a couple dollars go back and forth. So it's extremely important. Like my nephew is saying, everyone is hiring. Thanks, Corona, which is in essence the truth. Everyone is hiring. You may not get an executive position, a high-paying job that you can kick back like a fat rat, but you can get a job that you can feel good about, at least to start with. So do what you can. Get out there, fill out those applications, and don't be scared. Some of us have been out of the workforce so long that it's really difficult to wrap our minds around it. It's a real truth. It's a real issue when individuals have been out of work for so long that their mind and everything else that needs to get done, they become very apprehensive. Sometimes they get some anxiety and they put so much doubt in them that they really can't promote themselves to push forward. So that's just a mental health treat. Later on in the show, we're expecting a friend of mine, a guy named Larry Parks, who is a clinician. He works in and out of school districts, and he works in social work and mental health. And he's going to come and talk to us a little bit about what he's doing in the community and what he's also offering or looking forward to do here in Atlantic City and outside of the community, because where he does most of the work he does is in Philadelphia and outside of the greater area. But because he's homebred and mom is still here, which she watches the show and hopefully she'll come back later. But Larry's going to come on and talk about this, and we're going to talk about mental health, the reality of it, the necessity for us to be stable, and how some of us, the coping mechanisms that we're choosing are actually part of the problem. So we're looking forward to having Larry later on in the show. Later on, we're also going to talk about this dude on this video. For those locally, there's some guy, he calls himself the average guy, or the average, or I can't remember exactly the term. Um, it was a big mess that took place here locally in Lang City, where someone who is not from this area came in here. Okay, Larry, I see you, brother. Someone who came to the city and took a walk through a community um, that he spoke of as being the worst part of the city. And he spoke in such negative terms, and he was very disrespectful in what he said about the community. And he also somewhat placed an image or staged something to appear that he was fearful of his life for something that transpired. We're only going by what he says, but those of us that know the community know that probably did not take place, and it wouldn't take place. And if anybody understands how neighborhoods work, know that him walking up with a camera and looking like a nervous wreck the way he did, and people just very nervous about anyone coming into the communities, plus in the community we went to, anytime you see individuals who are not known to be there, they're there for the wrong damn reasons. So this guy coming in, creating the stir and the ruckus, and some of the things he was talking about were true, but not what he was saying about the community, but the atmosphere and what may have taken place that helped to create the atmosphere that everyone is struggling through right now, which is the economy itself. So we'll talk a little bit about this guy, this dude in the video. I don't know if I have the opportunity to, but maybe what I'll do is I'll show a snippet of the video or a highlight of it itself, because I don't want to make this guy any more popular than he is. But I think he's just a political hack who's looking to see what he can during political season to have someone buy the video, support him, to make him this big guy so he can get some watch or some viewers on his webpage. If anybody was going to his webpage, you see that he's just a normal guy. Yep. Normal guy is just trying, you know what I mean? It's like everybody else out here, including us. But what he's doing, walking into, it's not his lane. So you need to curb yourself out of that lane. Stick to what you know, my man, because you're about to get bombarded by lots of people who love our town, who found it very disrespectful on how you came into town, and you're not welcome to come back in the way you did. But you need to have dialogue. We need to have some dialogue. So if anybody knows this normal guy, have them hit the show up, call up. Because the show is not in person, you're safe. No one's going to attack you. You won't see anyone pull any gun on you. But we will have some dialogue, and we'll treat you fairly. We always do so here in the New Norm 2.0. So moving forward, I wanted to talk a little bit about the situation right now is taking place in the federal government. The Congress is potentially voting on a fourth stimulus check. I don't know if you received a letter from the president and the IRS stating that you have X amount of dollars that should be coming to you, expected to be coming in. That, if you remember, it's actually a follow-up to ensure that you received what was due to you in the last stimulus. That was the $1,400 to go on with the $6,000. And together that is $2,000 that was talked about initially. It was part of the whole mission. They're playing school math, and they're basically promoting that $2,000 went to the public. But that was the $1,400 that everyone's supposed to get. That was what that letter was talking about. Nothing in excess to, or nothing more. However, there is discussion going on. At this point in time, there's over 80 delegates, 80 elected officials from the Democratic Party are now siding together with Ilhan Omar and the rest of the crew who were initially adamant to say that we need more consistent stimulus checks coming in more on a regular basis to help from people diving into further poverty and hardship and to avoid homelessness. And as time goes on, more and more people are siding with that same concept. So whatever it is potentially happening. The first discussion of it was March 31st of this year. And so it continues. In the beginning, it was only like, I think, 17 elected officials or senators that were supportive. Now it's over 80. So as the hardship and the information go on into the offices of these elected officials, more and more of them are turning to see that this could be a valid truth. However, you know how America has been, I guess, characterized, that we print money. But the reality is that this is showing that they could have done so much more so many times before. because the resources are there, and if the intent is there, and if all the people got together to do so, more and more could have went out to the communities and help in preparation to help eliminate some of the issues that we have, the infrastructure issues that we have now. There's a big 91, I think that's the number, $91 billion bill that should become, it's called the infrastructure bill, that's coming in to help with infrastructure throughout the United States. Infrastructure, they're talking about roads, bridges, train tracks. Transportation is a major element, subways, tunnels and what have you. So I think that's going to increase like crazy. But now with so much effort being had from the other senators that they're saying $10 billion could be added onto it to help with the stimulus onto this bill. I don't know how successful that's going to be. However, sad to say, we've seen it happen before. It'll be a bill talking about this is the red, white, and blue bill, and it'll be something coming from out of northwest corner of America, and it's attached onto the bill. It has nothing to do with the initial bill. It's called pork. That's how America has always worked in the Congress and so on and so forth. So many things happen under the guise of something good and something horrible is in place, and they always get it passed. It's always like that. There's a saying, the devil's in the details. That's why when you see all these bills come into the Capitol, anything that comes from Congress or from the Senate, you'll always see these stacks. The bill itself is 6,000 pages. The context of whatever's getting moved, it might be 10 pages, but it'll be 5,990 pages of rhetoric and bullshit to confuse you, to get you frustrated so you won't pay attention. It's sad to say that's how it seems to have always been, and that's how it seems to continue until you and I, the voters, raise our voices against it. So I guess that's why everyone in elected position seems to be a lawyer, because they love to navigate through words and interpretations to make things happen for how they want it and for who they support. So let's keep pushing, y'all. The power is always in the people and not in the policy. It's in the people. You guys can push it moving forward. So that is pending, and it's still being discussed. In addition to, it would be a great service for me to tell everyone the PPP loans. That process is still available until May 31st. 10 days, y'all, to fill out applications and for you to get a PPP loan. And let me say this. Some got this damn PPP loans without no damn business and shouldn't have had the damn loan from the first place. But that's just an opinion. It's not an allegation. That's just an opinion. However, for those of you who have businesses, the Paycheck Protection Program is still available till May 31st. The federal program was established through the CARES Act. I'm reading what it is on the COVID-19 State of New Jersey Treasury Department. Matter of fact, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to show it to you so you guys can read it on your own. And then you can determine what you need to do from there on. So I'm going to share this real quickly. And then you can look at it. Let me take my ugly face to the side so you can see more of it. Oh, it didn't even make a difference. All right. So as you see, is that it is to help small businesses keep employees on the payroll. It also helps with gig workers, y'all. So if you're interested, gig workers can also benefit from this. So if you're eligible, please fill it out. It's for corporations, people who are established. You'll see the legislations. You also the business self, as far as the PPP loans, there are taxes that will be coming from the PPP loans. It's nothing scot-free. In addition to whatever you'd agreed on in the loan itself. But some people are believing that it's like lottery money that you hit and you ain't got to pay. But anybody who knows lotteries, that you still got to pay in the front end and then get stuck with a bill later on in the back end as well. So y'all know how it works. You know how it works. So this is some of the information that's available. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay. Yep, that's that. So PPP loan is still available, y'all. Now, moving forward a little bit more, there is going to be financial recourse or financial resources available for businesses. In our town, we are starting to engage on a local level some business supplementation or finances made available to businesses who may have had some hardships because of the economy and the pandemic. You find out the information and see what you can through the CDBG, Community Block Development Grant Office. If you are eligible for that, and I am confident that if the funds are available and you're eligible, you'll get that. So it'll help you because it's extremely important that every facet of the community is given the needed support system so it can function, because we have to lean on one another. Small businesses who hire local people that work there get impacted, because not only do the employees who have no money can no longer spend money in those stores, so those stores can't function on that whole economy, the economic loophole itself, or the ecosystem gets broken. So you have opportunities on a local level if you're interested to get support. So please do so. It's through the Community Block Development Grant. It's a support system enabled through the state of New Jersey for small businesses to get assistance because of the hardships, or assistance to help you eliminate or erase some of the debt that you've incurred or the hardships that you faced because of the pandemic. So do that. Okay, I see Dawn White. Dawn had one make sure that everyone's available that understood. There's a matter of fact, let me just make this so everyone can see this. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing. This is a community vigil for George Floyd, Tuesday, May 25th at noon, here in Atlantic City. The vigil is to continue to not only memorialize George Floyd, but also to continue the message that needs to be had, that justice for all includes all, and Black Lives Matter. So let's keep pushing. Hey, Dawn, I hope you're well. Let me take a second to say hello to everyone who's on the chat already actively sharing information. Sandy, I hope you're still there. You can probably come on a little later. Hope to see you there. He's part of the family. My nephew, Santiago Montana, Kev, KK, everything's good. Hopefully you're well. Dawn, thank you for the information. It's essential that we keep sharing the information, because some of us are out of the loop and or late in getting some of this information. So hopefully this can help our individuals stay informed. Look for vigils in your neighborhoods. Look for situations, events, or gatherings to commemorate George Floyd's, the heroic fight that was spurred by the atrocity that happened to George Floyd. So we're going to keep pushing, because Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. Let's make sure that everyone's life is significant and treated so fairly. Let's remember that legislations that were put in place eons ago had intended solely striking specific individuals, because they didn't have the scope to envision everyone in the whole concept or the context of what they were doing. It was written so well that it can include everyone, but it wasn't intended for everyone. So let's do what we can to make sure that we are all celebrated and honored fairly and respectfully treated as brothers and sisters universally, and to ensure that safety and honor and protections of the Constitution are afforded to every one of us. Due process is extremely important. Justice is extremely important. Let us continue to push on, so justice isn't written Justus. It continues to be Justice. I wanted to make sure I spelled that right. I would have been messed up if I would have messed that one up. Woo! Anyway, yes, Dawn, she said, let me make sure I put up the banner. Thank you for the continuous conversation. Dawn says, always, 1 year later, the message is still alive and well. Yes, it is. It's a message that deserves to be continued. Sandy, the cops 2 years ago body cam released the other day. Yes. I've been noticing how quite a lot of body cams are being released recently. I also saw how in one situation the officer was exonerated. They found no reason to charge the officer in the gun-related death of a perpetrator, for lack of a better term. I saw that. But we talked about it in the show, how we're going to see more and more body cams. We're going to see more and more evidence of wrongdoing, evidence of questionable behavior, broken protocol and procedures. We're going to see tons of that because of the access of cameras, the availability of police cameras, and availability of cameras all the way around, either whether through phone or CCTVs and stuff like that. We're going to see them. So if those are there, we got to make sure that we are supporting. Brother Chris, thank you. I'm going to keep doing my thing, bro, because I have to. Ya sabe, you know? Yo, I'm coming by the crib with some, I need some signatures soon, all right? You know what's up. I need to take a swig. I'm going to call upon my technical team. I forgot to get my bottle of water. I'm classically known for having a big old bottle of water available. So hopefully somebody in my tech team, my support squad, the associate producers, not the technical team, the four-legged monster that keeps barking all the damn time. He's so rude. I swear to God. Chihuahuas are so rude. Thank you, son. That's the man, 18-year-old phenom, about to graduate high school. He's about to go to the prom. He's going to the prom, yo. Woo-hoo. Yeah. So, no. Oh, my God. He's tempting me. My son is tempting me with some fries. We have this ongoing debate, him and I, about the best French fries in the area. We talk about this stuff. And we say how locally, I got it. Thank you. Locally, there's certain places you get French fries are guaranteed are good. Boy, he just brought a box of French fries, and I'm looking at him like, why are you tempting a fat boy with some French fries? Especially when I'm on live. Y'all feel me, right? Y'all feel me anyway. But thank you. So moving forward, back to what we were saying before. No. You're knocking my... Come on, guys. Come on. You know the screens and everything. You see the Wonderkin. No, I didn't need that. I'd have brought that over here. The Wonderkins in the background working. You see them? Moving forward, let's talk about some other things that I know are pertinent into the community. We need to find some solutions for gun violence, because some things that are happening are some things that we can definitely avoid ourselves, man, but we're just not being active. We're not playing active roles in our community the way we could be. And some things that we're finding out are the outcome of arguments, fights, struggles, battles that have taken place in other places. We're coming to find out that there are dilemmas between territory, groups of people who are fighting other groups of people because of misinterpretation. We got some anger issues, man. We got issues because we're quick, fast, in a hurry to reach for a gun or think that beating someone up is going to solve our issues. We have to find some solutions to try to help eradicate so much death and deception in our communities. One of the things I've been saying for a long time, I've been preaching, is that, you know what we have a bad tendency of doing? We turn our cheek. Sometimes we turn our cheek is because we're related to the people. We signed up. Sometimes we turn our cheek is because there's a financial benefit for us to support that person and possibly enable that person doing whatever they do. We turn the cheek for various reasons. Some of us turn the cheek because we don't want to be victimized, potentially victimized, or looked at like we're some sort of rat. And that's the term that they use. Or snitch. That's another term that they use. So we're constantly turning our cheek. We should be all spinning in circles. We need to stop turning our cheek. Parents, you need to go check bags. You need to check book bags and dresser drawers. You need to go inside sneakers. You need to look for anything that could potentially put your children in jeopardy. You don't know what the hell is happening outside of the door when they leave home. For those of you who live in a stable household, you don't know what's going on in the streets. You don't know what they're involved. Please listen to them. Listen, oversee and overhear these conversations that your kids and your relatives are having with others. If you find some beef, or you're listening to some beef, that potentially can escalate into something horrible. We have to be better. We have to do better. We have to pay attention more, because when we are not doing that, then all we're left to is our own demise, and all we're doing is feeling sorry. We're acting hopeless. We shouldn't be hopeless. We should be active. We should no longer allow for another mother to be mourning. We should work hard, diligently, to avoid from another family having to bury their family members too soon. Be more active in that. Be more present and inactive. You're present for peace, then be active in it. Don't just be on the outside talking about it. Don't talk about it on your political dais and just talk about it. Go out there. And yes, I said political dais because this is election season. This is the season of witches. You don't know which one to turn to. Which one is telling the truth? Which one is going to come out with the next dirt? Which one is sending the flyer out that's defaming and besmirching the life of the other? It's the season of witches. It's sad. Because the truth of the matter is that we're not always left with the best decisions or the best candidates to make the decisions. So we get what we got and we deserve it. So we still got a chance to do better, though. We still got a big chance to do better. So in us attempting to do better, we need to be active in being better, y'all. But as we continue, it's the little things that really count in the lives of so many. A lot of the issues that we see on the streets, especially as we warm up in urban communities, you see young girls, they're fighting like crazy. You see a lot more young girls fighting and the guys sitting on the outside fighting, whether they're salivating, waiting to see body parts fling out of their clothing, or they just love to see this kind of anguish goes on, and they're making bets on who's going to win, who's not going to win. We're seeing it too often. We need to be entertained in a different form. All this damage and MMA fighting bullshit has its place, but it's allowed to happen too much in our communities, and we're supporting it. I'm from the old school. We didn't pull out guns and knives. We took it out in the streets, and if you had a problem with me, put your hands up. We're going to fight. And then when the fight is over, then we can either make peace or continue to fight. But we didn't. It was a certain code of ethics in the street. You don't involve other family members. You kept children safe. You kept your parents safe. And you made sure that whatever fight you had with that individual was solely with that individual. That was a code. People weren't necessarily supportive of that code anymore, man. This is the season of cowards too. With a quick fast to pull out a gun on you. What'd you say? You talking about my sneakers? Oh boy, please. Here we go. But that's the issue. Sending out a big shout out and a hello to my brother. What up, Adrian? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Mo? What it is?
How are you this beautiful day?
Hey, can't complain, man. Anything above ground, as I always say, is a good day, you know?
That's right. Hell of a day. Hell of a day.
Yes,
so how was your week, man?
Say that again?
How was your week?
Beautiful, man. Hopefully yours is the same, you know?
That's good. Okay. I saw that earlier on. I saw a post that you had shared your Penco Tech days. It seemed like your technical prowess is showing off. I said, okay, I see you.
Dude, what in many talents, man. What in many talents. Did you see how I broke that whole baby down to its slowest common denominator? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So I see that you've mastered the electricals in automobiles. I said, boy, that is a hell of a thing because there's so many wires and shit all over the place.
It is a hell of a lot. And the ironic thing is, because the stereo came without instructions, so I had to install it without the proper instructions.
Oh, wow. That's one thing I used to love about Crutchfield. Crutchfield used to, whenever you order something from, remember Crutchfield? You ever order?
Yeah, that's what I had to order the antenna part for.
Yeah, they always give you the secondary parts, the added parts.
Exactly. And say, figure it out. Yeah, I had to go back and forth and order parts and put it together in the whole 9 yards, and everything came together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, I applaud you, brother, because I know it's not an easy thing.
No, it's not easy. The average person would not know what to do there. Trust and believe.
Yeah, average person would know what to do. They'd hire you. Right?
Well, man, I gave you that. Like I said, that's one of my many skills, you know.
And
you
that's
know,
what
just like my man, you know. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking earlier about how we have to utilize our skills. This is the time when we utilize
exactly. Exactly. You know, and the thing about it, this is the time to get educated, Mo. That's it right there. This is the time to get educated. Absolutely. If you don't want to go back to your regular 9 to 5, get educated. Because that's one thing that cannot take away from you. My parents taught me is the education. Mm-hmm. They could take everything else away from you, but one thing that cannot take away is the education.
That's right.
My
That's
entire family, pride themselves, and for generations, nothing but education.
right. Yep.
That's what it's about.
Yep. I can say the same thing, man. I've been blessed. My entire family has blessed with education. Our education most of the time came from hard knock life,
Yes.
from working and living, making
Hey, more stones and bones.
making
Stones
mistakes.
and bones.
Exactly. A lot of my family
Stones
members
and
make mistakes,
bones.
get locked up, knowing like, oh shit, I can't do that anymore. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stones and bones, man. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
it is what it is, man. But definitely, education is extremely important because if
Yeah.
you're just a fool and you make mistakes consistently, so
Yeah, and that's why, it's the joy of learning. Because once you've learned something, you get to master what you've learned, you become the best at it. You
at
know,
least,
huh?
at least we hope you become the master of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You always want to become the master of your trade. That's the way, it always, you get paid for doing something that you enjoy doing. Like that old saying goes, it's like not working. You know what I'm saying? You never did work in your life, so it's one of those
Absolutely.
things.
Absolutely. It's extremely important. I was trying to encourage folks earlier. I said, this is the time where collective economics works. It's one of the principles under Kwanzaa, which
Mhm.
is somewhat emulating some of the principles in the Jewish faith. When he talked about collective economics, being able to share a dollar to keep a dollar in the community to help the community
Mhm.
grow. There was reports earlier had mentioned on a few times in different shows how the dollar itself, how long it stays in the community. And
Right.
black
Mhm.
dollar seems to be the $1 who stays in the community for the least amount of time in comparison. And I think it was a couple hours compared
Correct.
to other nationalities, other races, where it would stay for days and weeks. And then adversely, the Asian American or the mostly Asian American communities celebrated the dollar staying for months in their community, which is an amazing feat. You know what I mean? But it's something that we can strive for as an overall community. We need to keep them dollars.
I
Give
want to push back on something here because it's
okay.
something that I've learned earlier this week.
Uh-huh.
And we've already spoken about Greenwood,
Hmm.
Rosewood, and some of these places,
Yep.
Black Wall Street.
Yep.
There's a movie coming on, I believe, relatively soon on, I believe on one of those, it's called Dreamland. It's backed by who is it? LeBron James.
Okay.
And a few other. This one young lady wrote a book. It's called Dreamland, and everyone asked her, "Why did you name it Dreamland?" Because that's what it was when Black Wall Street was around when they burned it down in Oklahoma.
Hmm.
You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? And
Yep.
it affected generation wealth for many years to come, going down the pike, and that's
Yep.
what's happening. And she also said that some people said, "Well, black people are lazy and black people don't want to do this." But when black people were prospering many years, they burned it down to the ground because they were prospering. Let's start
Exactly.
there, and that affected many people all the way up to today. Now,
Absolutely.
she said there's only 3 people that could actually remember going back to Black Wall Street or Greenwood back in Oklahoma.
Hmm.
3 people still alive. Black people are still alive, 3 of them, and they
Yep.
still remember what happened back then. It was
Hmm.
because a white woman said that this black guy whistled at her when they got all of these people, and then they actually burned the whole damn town down.
Like Emmett Till, right? The whole situation, Emmett Till.
Exactly, it exploded like a powder keg.
Hmm.
And even today, remember there was one young lady. I believe it was in Ohio. What happened with discrimination in real estate?
Hmm.
What she put a property up for to get an appraisal, and all of the appraisals came in very, very low. So
Right.
she called up one of her girlfriends and she says, her girlfriend is married to a white guy. So she told her girlfriend, "I want to borrow your husband, for a little while here."
Right.
And
Right.
so she says, "So what do you want to do?" She said, "I wanted to," she took down all of the pictures inside of the house of she and her family,
Hmm.
and and make it look like the white guy was living there, and then went back and got some appraisals, and it shot up over 100 and something $1,000, Mo.
Well, you know what? I totally believe it because isn't
Yeah,
that the concept of redlining? That one film we were talking,
redlining, correct?
the whole concept about value, the value system, and who's evaluating. Sad to say that America has so many little cracks and crevices where hatred, bigotry, segregation, elitist, white supremacy leaks in and they try to make sure and ensure it because it's a power thing. We are probably the ones that we never really paid attention until it's time for us to pay attention. So, now that we're on it, we're seeing it. And so we're doing what we got to do to eradicate it. Value is value, and we are valuable.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Look at the situation that's going on right now, because now over in Israel and the Palestinians, that is it's crazy.
That's horrible, man. That's horrible.
It's crazy.
That's horrible. And you know what? It's sad because it's such a political thing involved, and it's a socio-political thing, and it's been for eons. People want to defend. They want to defend the Jewish government, to say they're defending Jews and Christian and their way of life and so on and so forth. I'm like, the hardships they've, we people of color here in America can be very sympathetic to what's going on in Palestine, because this is some of the conditions that we've had to live under for decades, if not eons as well. We've had to be consistently worried. We don't have the rights to vote. For so long, we didn't have any rights to vote. So many hardships. We were basically enslaved. We're not bombarded by bombs, but we were killed constantly.
The trooper that just recently killed that guy, and they covered it up.
Yep, we're seeing that so often. Yep, we need to do what we can to eradicate it by step. My nephew just basically says we need to fill those positions like real estate appraiser. Yeah, that's one of them. We have to get into every avenue we possibly can to
and control it. But learn it and control it, because a lot of people, speak about, hey, look at all of those Mexicans, but a lot of those Mexicans are actually learning a lot of the trades and stuff that they're going to be owning their own companies come tomorrow. That's what's happening.
You cannot. I remember when George Lopez mentioned something about having a situation with a construction worker, somebody who just came out of. He was like, he hired somebody, he gave him a chance because they're Mexican. So the only thing he did was work. He had a rope. He said he gave him, and I can't remember exactly, but he was just making a joke about how this guy with a rope measured out his entire house, did the whole work he did in very little time, and he did it like 2 days, and all he wanted was like a pack of beer and some cigarettes, and he did it. But it goes to show you, and the reality of it is that we can't keep judging people based on their race. Correct. Because people have opportunity. So again, like we talked about before, you have opportunity to be excellent, not just equal to our counterparts. We have to be excellent. We have to do even more.
Yes,
and you know what I mean. Get that value. Yep. To get it, and it's cool. It's really cool.
But a lady, like I said, obviously her appraisal shot up through the roof once she put, the white guy, to make, look like if he was the one that was actually, having their house appraised. And it's the same. So now she went back and turned around to sue all of the real estate appraisers. Now everybody's like, oh, we did not know this, and Freedom Mortgage, oh, we did not know that we had nothing to do with that. She reported them to her, and she got herself an attorney, because that's racism, at its finest.
You know what's crazy? I think one of the tools that are being used to being able to discriminate people in housing is the homeowners associations.
Yep, the HOA.
HOAs seem to be really big down south. The more and more, my wife and I are always looking at videos of homes and stuff like that they do, because now, because of pandemic, they use drones and video cameras to help you see their homes and everything. So we're looking to possibly relocate to Florida. So one of the things I noticed, how many gated communities and ROAs, and I said, I remember a couple stories about ROAs putting exceptional limitations on people who they want, and they're giving certain rights to do so by doing specific things. And I was like, wow, even though there's supposed to be equality in housing, it depends on how they manipulate words to take away the chances that you have in your home or own a home.
Reminds me of the movie with Anthony Mackie.
That's what I said before. Didn't I tell you about my
exit? Give her a microphone so she could get in on it. You know what I'm saying?
She always walks in. She's trying to talk to me all screen. Bring your behind down here. I got the extra monitors and everything. I keep telling her. She just
get her a microphone. Get in on that joint.
I told her we can set her up the whole night. We got the hook up. All I got to do is the studio's hooked up. I got this.
But the thing about it is also more, because a lot of people, especially predominantly Black people, we love to own our own homes. You know, but after 2008, you know, when the market crashed in the whole 9 yards, there was a substantial amount of black wealth that went down the toilet during that period of time through foreclosures. It really put up a huge dent because George Bush opened up the door for a lot of people to actually get loans, you know, but at the same time, there were a lot of real estate agents, mortgagers, and these guys that was abusing the system. You know, and then the whole thing crashed. And once it crashed, a lot of those people, you know, even when I reviewed a few people's documents, you know, it was not up to par. It was not up to standard. It was not up to grade. There were a lot of shortcuts that was taken.
You hit it right on the nose because I know your expertise in this stuff, and you talked about this all the time about the crash and all the time. But if you look at it from a different standpoint, it looks to be like that was set up to be that way. It was set up so people would fail.
It was because a lot of those guys had cronyism going on within, you know, the real estate agent, the real estate mortgager, all of these people, the loan officer, you know, the appraiser, the inspectors, all of them were under the same umbrella against the buyer. So they were just trying to push anything out there, knowing whether or not the property is going to go into foreclosure. And the thing about it is because a lot of people purchase their own home. And the first thing they say, well, you know, I want an expert, you know, on my team. So they go hire a real estate, you know, lawyer. But the lawyer only verify all of the signatures and all of the paperwork that are there. They do not go through the terms and conditions or any of the things that you will be agreeing to within that mortgage. That's the problem. So at the end of the day, they could sell you anything as long as you sign and the lawyer picks up his 500 and says you're good to go. You know, then a few months down the road, you go from, you know, one adjustable rate to another adjustable rate mortgage or whatever the case may be. Or when you try to refinance, they throw you into another category. It's craziness. It's a lot of thievery goes on in that industry. And that's why some of those people, they don't like me. And I couldn't care less, frankly. Because, you know, that's where I roll. I was talking to my friend today, and that's what I was telling him. I can care less. Because if you're a thief, you're a thief. And if I got to come after you, I will. This is the bottom line.
That's right. That's why he got that S on his chest. He's the man.
You know, like I said, you know, it does not deter me. Dollar bills doesn't stray me away. You know what I'm saying? I stick because a lot of people do not have a real estate, you know, someone who specializes in mortgage to go over the document. We just take their word, buy the house, and we celebrate. We throw that first party. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like what Chris Rock said. You know, a few years ago, he says he bought a house, you know, and he put down X amount of dollars. And then the mortgage came in, it's like $9,000 a month. He says, I still have my luggage at the door. So when they decide to foreclose, I could just pick up my luggage and walk right out the door. Right. I never bothered to unpack. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They don't see this. There's a lot of pitfalls that happen at that closing table. A lot of craziness.
This is, you know, and I'm saying this because of the present situation that we got going on in Lang City. Because of all our desperation and the economy dropping the way it has been, and so much uncertainty goes on. Some people, because of Sandy and how the state created this issue by raising all the state monitored, like the loan rate or the water insurance, flood insurance, and stuff like that, the water table, they created it extremely difficult. And then they made it even more difficult with this Stabilization Act. So people walked away from their properties. Correct. And then because they can't afford it, they were pushed out. So walking away from their properties now created this lien process where they would be foreclosed. And in the process of foreclosure, there's somebody who is a predator in the background saying, okay, I'll have to pay what little taxes they are. I'll pay them and I own it. There's predators preying on your falling. And so in addition to that, some of these individuals who are consuming and buying these properties, they don't have the wherewithal to manage the property based on the debt level now and the taxable. No. They're going to try to turn around, make it an Airbnb, and going to try to make all this money. And this is what they do. And they're going to continue doing this. Why? Because the facade or the image of wealth has always been based on asset, not managing debt versus asset, just asset. And they've always been pushed on owning property is the best way to become wealthy. They're not understanding that conditions are a little difficult right now by being wealthy unless you've amassed so much that you're too big to fail. But even in having too big to fail, who's going to pay for the debt? If you can't manage it, you're not making the money, who's going to manage it? You can't rent it out to people who are not making money. There's nobody.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
You're being consumed by the same process, the same egotistical process that you benefited from. You're going to be consumed by it. because that's how the thing's been set up to fail. And there's somebody in the background.
It's designed for you to fail. I always say the system was always designed for you to fail. It was never designed for you to succeed. You know, and like it says, you know, Rosewood and, you know, Greenwood and all of these different places is a perfect example of that. You know, even some of the American Indians, they like, we actually, you know, decided to blend in with the African American because they were in the same situations that we were in, trying to get up out of this situation, being held down for all of these many years. You know, and it still goes on. As you can see, America is still very divided, and it will always be. You know, and it says, united we stand and divided we fall. We're divided right now. So, you know, it's evident. Right now, I was watching the news a little while tonight in New York City. You have the Palestinians going after the Israelis in the streets. So you have big brawls going on in New York right about now. Fights, you know, over something that's going on in the Middle East. You know, but at the same time, you have the Asian community, how they're being taken advantage of also. People, you know, robbing them and beating them and the whole 9 freaking yards.
It's really sad how in this situation, it's the bitterness and hatred that seems to always manifest in that same region of the world. It's not the people, but it seems to be the same region of the world seems to be on fighting, and they've always been fighting for, I mean, centuries they've been fighting there.
Yeah.
And it's for things that we have no real understanding on this side. Some of it has to do with pure greed. But folks don't see it. They just think it's always because of my religion, because of my, no, there's a business entity in the background, a financial benefit in the background, hiding behind the guise of it being religion. I doubt it highly. That's why I said, you know, peaceful people, God-fearing individuals, regardless of what faith, have been subjected to this violence. And it's wrong, man. It's wrong.
It is deeply wrong. Deeply wrong.
Yep. Like, and now in this division that we got going on, how quickly we moved on this anti-Asian hatred bill. You know, they moved really quickly on this bill. Congressional bill. They signed on it.
Yeah.
And then we're supportive of it, but then what about us? That's the whole concept. Now
that's the same thing one guy said out of New York. They said the same thing from WBLS. They said, you know, they moved on that bill relatively fast, and we empathize and sympathize with them. That's all great and fine and dandy. But at the same time, what about the cops out there that are actually killing people like there's no freaking tomorrow? You know, it's like trying to create a genocide, you know, against black people one way or another, because a lot of the cops infiltrated the KKK. They went straight into a lot of the uniform positions.
White supremacy, yep. White
supremacy. They went right into that position. And you can actually see that on Capitol Hill. So far, they've only arrested slightly over 500. Last time I checked, it was 502 people. Out of all the people, they only had 502.
You see how compassionate they're trying to be with the people that were arrested? You know, they're not saying assailants. They're not calling them bullies. They're not calling them
insurrectionists,
terrorists. And they're creating all the words they can to be as kind and sensitive as possible.
Yeah.
Come on, man. There was that nonsense. But again, we're left with, what about us? This is an anti-hatred bill, which is widely supported, and we should have bills like this. However,
for all,
when you do this and skip over African Americans that have been beaten continuously, hatred based on color specifically, if you're leaving them without a bill of protection, what is that saying? Everyone else is okay to get protection except for us. And then you have other people, Native Americans, have been treated like shit.
I know.
There's no anti-Native American hatred bill.
Yeah, and a lot of the women have been kidnapped and still haven't been found up to this day.
Exactly. There should be a bill, a women's protection bill. You know, anti-hatred versus women in protection bill. There's bills now being supportive of the LGBTQ community, anti-hatred against anyone living an alternative life, or whichever way, because I mean it's so complex. I don't know how to really.
Yeah, it's a lot of
words, but there's all these bills to be protective of certain groups, but the biggest group that has been beat down, killed, murdered, hunted is black people, people of African descent here in America. We have no kind of congressional support. We're not even thought about. I guess it's part of the normal fabric of America that they wouldn't know how to exist without it happening. There would be no policing. Is that the case? It'd be no other.
But in Connecticut, did you see what happened at the Amazon building in Connecticut? They found 6 nooses on the property at Amazon. 6.
I saw that a little earlier today and get into the story, and I was like, I wasn't surprised, but I'm disappointed.
Yeah, they have the FBI, investigating. There's $100,000 reward for anyone who has information leading to the arrest and prosecution of the individual who has done that, or individuals, because if it's six of them, there's more than one, off of these rafters. Who could get up that high on those rafters?
And nobody see it. In a location where you think there's cameras everywhere, right?
You tell me. Six of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to see something.
I remember a situation here some years ago in a firehouse where there was a noose, an alleged noose.
Yeah, I heard about that some time ago. Yeah.
You remember your brother told you about that?
Yeah.
An alleged situation, and the city was being torn apart with that whole concept because people alleging that it wasn't. Other people were adamant looking for blood. So it's just, we're constantly reminded how hatred is perpetuated in America. Constantly reminded how we are okay with African Americans being subjected to violence, and we shouldn't say anything. Or, or here's the thing: at least you got a president. Now shut up. That kind of nonsense. Welcome, Dad.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Hey, what came from Wakanda? Look at that outfit. African gear on. I like that. Wakanda.
Oh, that's the man.
Every day.
The Wakanda.
Every day, man.
You got the Wakanda look. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of Africa.
Yeah. Hey, man, I don't forget my ancestors, man.
You can't. How could you? That's the tree you stand on. That's the branch
that's it.
Every time you go into the mirror and ready to tip that coupe,
yeah. Got him in all colors.
He got all schemes and colors. I'll tell you.
That's it, man.
Absolutely.
Got to keep it real.
Mm-hmm. So how you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing okay.
How was your week?
Just like all the other ones, but
this is not a bad thing, huh?
No surprises. No, like no super highs, no super lows. Just
I got you.
Just keep on breathing, my brother. Just keep on breathing. You keep on
there. You go. Hey,
I got
you. At my age, you
need to breathe.
Thing, man.
You need to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're talking about what's going on nationally wise, how it seems to be okay to constantly step on, belittle, kill us people of color, African Americans here in America. And we're so defensive of other groups. Like one of the discussions we're talking about also is how the latest body cams are being made available. Like there's a big discussion right now taken on at CNN about Ronald Green, who was killed down in Louisiana by state troopers. And it's horrible pictures. You see how he was beat down in ways that you can see deliberately. It was horrible, man. How it's allowed to continue.
Well, I think I made a post, on just not too long ago. It's kind of like see, other folks have, they have politicians, they have lawyers, they have a lot of things going on. All we have is preachers, man, just coming by and just, like Mo was talking about, turn the other cheek and all this kind of stuff. I mean, we just been bamboozled and brainwashed, man. That's all it is. And as long as we sit around here waiting for somebody to come and save us, it ain't happening.
I mentioned that. Mo, he's absolutely right. I mentioned that before because every time a politician wants to get into office, the first place he goes to or she goes to is to the church. And the church that they normally go to is to the black church because that's a larger denomination. And that's what we believe in. And because they show up at the church, we believe and that we're obligated.
Nationally, how it seems to be okay to constantly step on, belittle, kill.
What's going on?
I'm sorry, that was me. I had to update the video. It froze on one side.
Okay.
But you were right. You know what? That's one of the things that I always keep in mind. Me being an elected official, if I haven't traversed in your church for any other reasons, I don't feel good trying to go there to get support in elections because of so many frauds that do that. I'm not with that nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the whole thing is, man. If you care to check it, man. It's like black folks have historically, man. They're the ones that basically carry the Christian religion. You know what I mean? We are more believers in it than the other folks. So that's a problem, and I mean, people will be asking me like, well, Mo, I don't know Mo if Mo know my background, but I used to be a preacher, man. I used to
Yep.
had the youth ministry and all this kind of stuff, man. And half the stuff that I preached, I would say not even half, more than half the stuff that I preached, I don't even believe it no more.
I
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you.
hear
So folks be asking me like, well, what religion are you? I said, well, I'm a seeker of truth, and I don't see no whole bunch of truth in the so-called, organized religion, man.
Dad,
'Cause
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
uh,
I've been teaching your grandson the same concepts. There's so much similarities in faith and
mhm,
in doctrines of faith or religion, and
mhm,
they're meant to teach you to help you get through things. You don't look at it like it is a doctrine of documentary. It is not a something that's a factual situation. It's suggestive information, so it helps you. But
right. Yeah,
I
it teaches you morality and,
yep,
and 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 things of that nature, but
it's necessary.
I mean, as far as saying, like, hey, this is it. This is the law, and and yeah, that's not it, man.
Yeah.
And I hate to sound like I'm a militant or something, but I mean, a lot of this religion, if you will, or all religions, they was handed down to us, you know,
To con-
and the folks that gave it to us don't even practice what they preach. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. That's
So
sad.
I
And
just
then,
kind of like,
yeah.
I don't do that no more, man.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, it's kind of like you were talking about, what's going on in the world today.
Hmm.
And what I thought was interesting, man, is how all of a sudden, man, they got to the point where they could pass a law for Asian hate, but they couldn't do nothing for us.
That's what we were talking about earlier. That's what
Yeah,
we were talking about. Yep.
they can't do nothing for us, man.
Yep.
Why? Because they don't want to.
Yeah.
Simple as
But
that.
the ironic thing is, when they want to get into office, where do they come first?
Yep.
Where do
Us.
they go to the first place?
Oh
Yep.
yeah, and then once they get in office, they forget about us, man. So I mean, that's the whole dealio right there. I mean, it's like I don't know. I'm not a big, political person. I look for people basically based on their MO, their morals, or whatever situation may be, and I realize that we are humans, so we all make mistakes.
Right.
But you know that there's some people, I mean, it's like Kamala Harris. Now, I'm not a big fan of Kamala Harris, because she was the
Me either.
yeah, she was the
I'm hopeful.
the state district attorney or whatever it was,
In California.
attorney
Yep.
general. Yeah,
Yep.
here in California, man, and she sucked. And she did everything. No, I mean, really, she did everything
No, no,
she
no, I appreciate
could.
that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You know, she did everything she could. It's like even the gun laws and stuff. They had, knocked down some legislation on the gun laws that they put in effect. And she was like, "Oh well, I would implement that, but I don't have a staff."
Uh-oh.
She just wouldn't. She wouldn't budge on it. She wouldn't do anything on it. And it's just stuff like that. And then plus, her attitude, man. She got that kind of like, my stuff don't stink. And and
She was a prosecutor.
yeah, and the like you go back to the family tree, like, well, yeah, she's part black and part Indian or something like that,
Hmm.
but and that's supposed to like get her in, but her grandfather was a slave owner, and
Oh,
that people don't know that because they was living somewhere like in Cuba or somewhere, some of the islands. They was and her grandfather had slaves.
I I don't know how true that is, but
Well, no, it's a fact. They
I
brought
think
it
it was
up, and
considered that because
she just kind of poo pooed it, and
yeah.
they went back and did her family tree. I think maybe when they
Okay.
brought it up when they were campaigning. Her
Okay.
and Biden were campaigning, and so they was bringing it up. What about that? She never did really answer it, So but they know who her grandfather was, and they know they went back and found records
Okay.
where he listed his properties and stuff, and the slaves was on there. Okay, so
Well,
that's it.
I know my colleague, my brother in arms, and the associate producer on the show, Adrian, is a big supporter of Kamala Harris, and we talked about it because we're both very, I'm not as gung ho about her because some of the issues that you talked about. However, I'm hopeful because she represents hope in a lot of girls who are, seeking to advance themselves in life. So they're given an image of the potential, and she's in a position right now where she could be so much more helpful than she was in the past. So,
Well, but the thing is, she's not doing nothing because I mean, a lot of things come up. You don't. I mean, well, have you seen her lately? Since you got elected.
yeah, but you're not going to see her.
Well, I
The
mean,
position of vice president, it's about a support system, but she's also
well, no, I understand that, but I'm saying like, okay, Mike Pence, they're out there doing things, they're out there talking about stuff, at least enough to back up the president. You're going about a support system situation. I haven't seen her do nothing.
yeah. Well, she's the president of the Senate, right? I mean, positions of vice president of the Senate. So with all the discussions that are going on to benefit the population, she's part of that discussion. So she's that information. So I just think I know what we've done back when Barack was president that we shouldn't have done. Like we had all these grandiose expectations he was going to do this and that for our community, but he didn't. But he kept everything together, and he was a good example of a great president. But he didn't do for us what he should have done or what he could have done, people of color. But I mean,
the whole dealio with that is, a lot of the other folks, out there, they thought that's what he was going to do, and they were going to block him from. I mean, everything he came up with, they were blocking it.
Of course. Well, I mean, if you look at it, think about it. All the stuff that group of individuals or that population or the people who support that think that way. And that's the basis of because that's what they're doing. They're complaining about someone potentially doing something that they would do in their presence.
And have done, so I mean, it's just like the situation right now, where the big snafu now is like, they're trying to get the commission to investigate what happened on January 6th. Mitch McConnell, I mean, he basically came out and said, look, I am going to be 100% against anything that Biden wants to do, period. And then the first thing they jump up, well, they're not trying to be bipartisan. They're not trying to cooperate with us. Well, you just said you ain't going to cooperate with them. So screw you. I'm sorry to forgive my French, but I mean, it's just like, okay, the thing with Benghazi, they took that thing like they just beat it till it was dead, I mean, and they didn't give up. And that matter of fact, they went and got their, had their own little independent panel, commission investigating that, and they never gave that up. They still talking about that, and they know they lost, but that's what they got to deal with, So and I think Democrats need to get coming out a little hard, man. Just like, look, forget you guys, man. We passing this. We got the Senate, we got the House. Forget you. We don't care if if you go along with it or not.
The problem that I see is that too many Democrats are Republicans in hiding. And then so many Democrats and Republicans are confused on the mantra of what their party is supposed to be, that they tend to follow one another, which is making a mistake. I'm tired of the Democrats versus Republicans because I look at it this way. It's in the transmission of a vehicle. You have park, reverse, drive. Those are the three most important things, right? Reverse for Republicans, the R. Drive for Democrats. All it seems to be is we're in that miracle place of neutral or park because we're not getting anywhere worrying about either one because they're not doing shit. They're not supporting nothing. They sure as hell ain't about the people. They're about themselves. And it's always that gang warfare. That's one of the reasons why I stepped out and now I'm an independent, proud independent, and not involved in none of that stuff because I'm tired of how we are made to believe that it's either us or them. And if we don't support one, it's supporting the other. That's that mentality, that hatred that's created in the community.
Right.
in a low level, and we forget that the power is in the people. If you
Right.
have 5 billion individuals and you have a large portion of individuals that are no longer taking the bullshit from any one of this stuff, you have to listen to them. That's what they did in the Republican Party with the Tea Party. Republicans
Yeah, well,
had the Tea Party. They was about to do a civil unrest and change over. They was about to cut strings. Oh, they stopped everything. Democrats haven't had one of those situations like that. We've had the liberals, but never ones to ready to cut the strings. Like, look, forget y'all. We don't need you. We're going to continue going, and that's where we lack strength in. People of color should understand where we stand and the process that we have to go through to get something in return, and then eliminate that process because we're the ones. The power's in the people. We can eliminate that process and start something totally different. How about go back to being decent individuals?
That's what I'm talking about. So that's how I vote, because actually I've always was registered as an independent.
Mm-hmm.
But then they came out with this thing, well, okay, well, if you got to pick something, you got to be Republican or the Democrat, or we won't send you your ballot or something like that, So, but I still have the opportunity to vote either way for whoever I want, depending on who's on the ballot.
Yep.
But yeah, they just kind of get you cinched into something, So you have to be Democrat or Republican or something.
That's illegal. That's illegal. That is illegal. They cannot mandate you pick or choose anything. That is your constitution.
They you don't have to. You can register as an independent, but you don't get a lot of the information on the ballots and stuff that a Republican or a Democrat would get.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? You can get all the information by looking into it. The only thing
No. I know I can look for stuff myself, but like when there is no independent party. There's no independent, nothing. So they're not sending you anything. I mean, as far as like when you go to vote, like say for instance, if you register as a Democrat, you're going to get all the Democratic folks on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you vote Republican, if you registered Republican, you can get all the Republican folks on the ballots.
Mm-hmm.
So if you independent, you don't get nothing. So anyway, I just went and just said, hey, okay, I'll go with the Democrats. And the only reason why, because you got two parties, that are basically, you don't have no Green Party, you ain't got none of that, So you got two major folks on there, right? And so groups, I should say. So basically, I just said, okay, well, based on the bullshit, the stuff that the Republicans are putting out, yeah. Come on, anybody with any kind of common sense can see that, all of them, they just regurgitating Trumpism, and I can't go along with that, So
I hear you, Dad. I'm just saying that protect your rights. Don't fold on what you've been told, because that's not what we're talking about. You have to make sure that you're able to stand on your own when it comes to that. You have a right to. Gina asked me this question. So you're not a Democrat? I am no longer a registered Democrat. I am a peoplecrat, if that could ever be a word. I'm about the people and not the system. I'm about the people and not the party.
Yeah.
So
over to the people, huh?
They have to play on words, but it didn't sound right.
Peoplecrat. If you say so.
But, well, I mean, people crap. I mean, come on, that's what that.
Oh, crap.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
crap. I thought you said crap, but then we're like, whoa, that's it. That don't.
It's all right. Yeah. It's all good. But my choice of doing so is because too much of the stuff was people expecting that I side with certain issues and things just because I'm a Democrat. I side with Democrats on many issues, many more issues with Democrats than I am with Republicans. Trust me when I say this, but I'm independent because I'm not going to be obligated to anything of any party or any grouping because they do so. I hate being looked at and being considered something based on the grouping. That's like somebody making a brushstroke. Oh man, all bald head people do this. Nah, I can't stand that. Or all old people do that. I can't stand that. I don't like brushstrokes. Or all Latinos do this. Or all people with left-handed people. I can't stand that. We're society too much into that stuff. So I'm trying to be as independent as I possibly can so people see me for who I am. and if my message hits, let it land where it may, because
Yeah.
I don't play games.
Yeah. Or either, I mean, it's because you're black, you got to go this way or you got to go. I go my own way, and right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm still going to be who I am,
Yep.
and I mean that's how I was born. That's how I'm going to die. I'm going to be me,
Absolutely.
and I don't care, like, I mean, I don't allow, even family, to
Right.
sway me either way. I still got my own opinion now. And then I'm the type of person, I will say what I feel, and you can dig it or you can dig it. But that's me.
There you go.
So
I don't like bullies.
that's it.
The thing
I don't like bullies. Go ahead, Adrian.
You know, the thing about it is also because we all know the separation between the federal government and the state government. We're all privy to that. But what happened is the majority of the governors, where are all the black governors, even though the majority of the Democrats are black people? Go, and look at that. That's the reason why 19 of these states are, actually some of these states like, Arizona asking for recount. All of these states are asking for recount.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening because I've noticed this some time ago where someone says the majority of the people in the Democratic Party are minorities and black people. The majority of the governors in the state, even though they're the Democrats, they are predominantly all white Democrats because there goes that systemic
You mean
racism.
Republicans?
No, well, the majority, yeah, correct. The majority of the Republicans are white, but even the Democrats who are actually governors are white also. They're not black. Even though the majority, you see, so this is what I'm saying in a nutshell. They put a black president and say, okay, you guys want somebody black? We got a black president. Then you got a black female vice president, okay? But then count on your high hand how many black governors we have had in the United States coming up out of the Democratic Party. Because they said that the Democrats normally put the money, and a lot of the mayors are all black. Mayors from the cities are predominantly all black, but the governors are predominantly all white.
Yeah.
So the governors are still overlooking, even though look at case in point, Atlantic City. The mayor is black, the governor is white. Who controls Atlantic City? They put their foot on their neck or their knee on their neck or whatever. The governor from the he's a white guy. Murphy is white. He's not black, first of all, and he's a Democrat. But they're moving to extend the amount of time that Atlantic City would be able to control itself, even though it's predominantly black in Atlantic City and minorities. So that's what's happening.
It's all about that, man.
The Democratic Party always put their money behind the white governors and never move forward to actually elect a black governor or governors in a lot of these states. So you have all Republicans running. A lot of these states are ran by Republicans. And when they make these laws, they actually throw everything back in time. Look at what's going on, in Georgia, when, with the governor there. Look at Florida. All of these governors are throwing everything back. When DeSantis, when this other guy ran for governor for Florida, look how they trashed him. Look at what happened to Stacey Abrams also. She ran for governor, and look at what happened to her. Exactly. They don't put a lot of money in getting black people elected as governors, but we could get elected as mayors. We could do it as mayors because a lot of the mayors and the chiefs of police are black, but they will never make it to that governorship. And governors run the states because the federal government have their own federal laws, but the state governors runs the state. They determine
money and fear.
And that's my thing, because with the Democratic Party, they need to start, someone says, putting money behind black people and minorities to become governors.
That's right.
To become governors. Not
money
just
and fear, man. That's all that you got going on there.
Did you guys know that the state of New Jersey, the governor is more powerful than the president? In the state of New Jersey, the governor is more powerful than the president. He has more power and authority in the state of New Jersey than the president himself does.
And that's why they can do what they want to do. Yeah. That's why they can do what they want to do. They call the shots. When Cuomo got up there and he went against Trump, Cuomo told Trump, to hell with you, I'll do whatever I want in this state because the Constitution allows me to do whatever the hell I want in this state. You can do whatever you say. out there. But
Yeah.
this is, when it comes down to New York, we handle things here.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. The power is with the
Yeah.
governors. That's where the
Right.
real
The
power
feds
is.
can't override or overrule the state's laws. You know what I mean? So if the
Yeah,
feds come up with the
Not
law,
New
the
Jersey.
state can't do nothing. I mean, the state come up with a law, the feds can't change it.
Not New. Exactly.
And-
New Jersey.
yeah,
In New Jersey,
That's
the
any
state.
state.
But I know about that one, except for when
correct.
it's through emergency situations dealing with the war, finances, and things like this. Then the federal government oversees everything, except for New Jersey. McGreevey made sure that there was a bill, a defense bill, in there to ensure that the governor had rights to move anything finance-wise, military-wise, to help and ensure and insulate the New Jersey, where all the other states have still a due process that they had to go through with the federal government. McGreevey was the only one that successfully made this, and that's why the governor's position in New Jersey seems to be uniquely the one most touted, and it's the one that everyone wants. California is big, but that's a big Democratic state. It's a big country. I mean, a big state,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily consist of the powers that New Jersey has. It has finance, but it doesn't have the powers that New Jersey has. Everything has to come through Jersey to get everywhere else. Everything comes through Jersey. Everyone who goes to New York comes through Jersey for something.
New Jersey's a
Everyone who
hub.
goes to
New
Pennsylvania
Jersey's a hub for a lot of things. Yeah.
Yep. This is the hub. The
New Jersey's
financial
the hub.
industry has
Yeah.
relocated from New York to New Jersey and Jersey City. So there's more in New Jersey than on the other states has. California is just a widespread state. Yep.
New Jersey's population is 9.3 million people.
Yep.
Check that out.
Most
You know,
densely
that's the densely
populated, more
populated
police
state.
officers than anything else, than any state. Crazy.
You drive around the block, you're going from one precinct to a township to a municipality. Yeah, it's very highly policed. There's no doubt about that. You can't run away. If you're going to run away and try to avoid the cops, don't come to New Jersey because they're all over. The casinos, they have them in the back of the house, the whole 9 yards. State police, the everything. Highly policed state.
Armed. Yeah, everyone's armed. That's a shame.
You know, it goes back to show, Mo, the majority lies with the majority of the power lies with the governor, and not too many black people going to really make it up. And the Democrats, you know, come on, move some people up the ladder to have them run for governorship. That's the thing, right? Lies.
And that's one talking point. One of the reasons I had to step away from the Democratic Party, because I can't speak from a federal level because that's a big grandiose idea. Just like singing Kumbaya. Oh, great. You know what I mean? But whatever they do at the national level is not going to affect my town, my community. But the state level is a different situation. It can affect my town and my community. In the state of New Jersey, we don't have what we should have in the state of New Jersey because too much has been, too many people on one side of the table have been empowered and they've been hoarding lots of opportunities, hoarding assets and resources for so long that they think that's just the way it should be always. And then some of us like to think or have been brainwashed to believe that that's the case. It's always been like that, so why change it? No, we need to change it. If we have diversity, then it shows that we support diversity. If we had a diverse leadership, then it shows that we're diverse. But if it's always the same shit, and in the state of New Jersey, if we have a person of color running for governor, oh my God, God forbid a person of color. Enough, right?
I think that their water is going to turn to wine. I think that their water is going to turn to wine.
I mean, God, you know, I mean, we have brilliant people of color from all over the world that run universities, that run health systems, scientific, but they're not smart enough to be governor, huh? They're not smart enough to be governor.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what?
Look at the same
You
thing
know
with
what
Washington.
amazes me
What's that?
is that you know, I we're on Facebook, at least I'm on Facebook, but you know, every once in a while you see all these kids, man, that you know, got millions of dollars of scholarships and all this kind of stuff, or they're chess masters, or you know, 11 years old, or I think I saw something where it was like these three kids, little black kids, had higher IQs than Einstein and Tesla.
Yep.
You see stuff where, like over in Africa, man, dudes is building cars, don't even have high school educations of building cars and different things.
Well,
So the thing is it's a fear thing, because see, they can't, like, I think Adrian said something earlier where it's like, you can't steal, my education, or and I look at education not always like book knowledge, but it's like you said, the school of hard knocks, and and being able to take that education, if you will, and put some knowledge and wisdom behind it, you're unstoppable,
Yeah, we are.
so
There are a lot of brilliant black people out here, scholars. There's no doubt about
mhm.
it. Very highly intelligent people.
right.
But like it says, and they're all, every year when the election comes around, what are you going to vote? I want to vote Democrat. You know what I'm saying? But then at the very echelon, putting somebody in that position to become a governor and putting the money behind them to become a governor of a state, it's no different from Washington, D.C. Okay, Biden is inside of there now because they were pushing to make Washington, D.C. a freaking state.
Yep.
They were pushing for statehood with Washington, D.C. It's predominantly all black, to tell the truth.
Right.
So they should make it a freaking state. But then what are they going to do? They're probably going to put somebody else that's not black to be governor of that state too, if they make it a state.
Yeah, well, it's all about control. It's all about money. It's about fear.
Yes, it is about money and
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah,
It plays very heavily.
Yeah,
But
it's about fear, because they don't want us to be able to get any power, because once that happens, and I think that's the whole situation, like with this Trumpism thing. It's not so much that they think Trump is great and good and all this kind of stuff, but they believe that, they hate he hates the same people that they hate, what it boils down to. And you better bet, it's like everything's Black Lives Matter did this. They even still talking about it wasn't Republicans that basically did the riot on June 6th. It was Black Lives Matter infiltrators, and the thing is that you don't really have Black Lives Matter. They don't even really have an organization, because they don't have headquarters. They don't have, I mean, they may have some movers and shakers in there, but they're not really as organized, as a lot of people think they are. So
the thing about it with that insurrection that actually happened, we all can see and we all can read. Okay, and a lot of those flags were actually saying Trump on there. It never says, Black Lives Matter. It never says BLM or anything of that nature.
the Confederate
Trump.
flags and Trump
We
flags.
call it spades of spades. That's what it
Yeah.
is. We call it
And
spades.
then,
That's it.
all the people that was arrested, they wasn't black.
No, they
I think
weren't.
it was one black guy that was arrested, and he had like mental issues, and he's still probably still in jail.
He still thought that he was celebrating his birthday.
Yeah, he had mental issues, but he's still in jail. That's what I'm saying. Like lawyers and politicians, we got. If you ain't got that, that's
look at
it.
the politicians. They're actually saying, that what's going on with that insurrection was nothing short of another walk in the park. It says it was another beautiful day that everybody decided to go for a nice walk in the park on January 6th. That's nonsense. We all see what's happening there.
The guy that the senator that said that, he was saying, like it was just like a tour guide or something. But they had videos of him screaming like a little girl when they were trying to take it in the chambers.
Yeah.
He had behind the security guard with the gun. He no.
Exactly.
Let me say, I put the image of something because I wanted you guys to think about this. The chessboard, the whole concept of the chessboard itself, it's about strategy and war.
Yes, it is.
All this are parts of the chessboard of the war that we're working into. Some of these individuals are utilizing the pawns, like these guys going in the insurrection, to create an image and a diversion while they're doing other things. That's about flanking your enemy off the side. Sun Tzu, the great warrior chief, wrote about flanking and creating distractions and fighting your enemy with enemy. So we have to look at it from an aspect that we're at war. We're at war with the enemy. The enemy is not one said group. It's just the concepts that are holding us from actually prospering. So The enemy is something that we gotta be concerned about. You got some fools out there acting like they're tough until it's time to tough. What did Mike Tyson say? Everybody got a plan until you get punched in the face, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened up in the DC. They got punched in the face, and half of them cowered up, and you show how brave they truly were. One asking the then president for a pardon, which is stupid as hell for even thinking about it, because that president is known to always leave people behind unless you bring some financial gain. And then everyone else that's involved in this whole concept has to do with what their entitlement and the empowerment that they have, not about any other thing. It's about entitlement and the fear that we're going to do to them what they're doing to us.
Exactly.
You know, but also, Mo, you know, in my own, you know, like I've said, you don't really have power until you actually become governor. Because when you become governor of a state, now you control exactly what goes on within the state.
Right.
And that's what's going on with the mayor and all these, you know, city council. That's all fine and dandy. They still have to comply with what the state laws and rules and regulations are. The governor shot. And the president could only say certain things because the governor will push back and says, hey, look, according to the, you know, the 10th Amendment, you can't do really nothing to me. I'm the one that's actually running the show here, pal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the whole dealio is, and I can't remember who it was. Some guy got to be, I think it was like in Michigan or somewhere like that, where a Democratic governor, you know, got elected, and they immediately, the Senate immediately started changing the laws and stuff to try to, you know, take away his powers. And that's the exact same thing. If the black guy got it in and got to be governor, they would be immediately changing the laws to strip him of any power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's by design. That's by design.
In Georgia, the minute Georgia was consumed, and now we have 2 more delegates in Georgia that were more friendly or allies to black people, then they changed the whole voting.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They threw the whole thing out the window.
Exactly. And it was all geared to keep black folks from voting. You know, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and even look at Florida, because, you know, once, you know, become governor, he picks the senator to go to Washington, D.C. to represent Florida. So he picks, you know, the former governor from Florida to go to Washington, D.C. to represent Florida. That's what's happening. The governor did that.
It's always a small clique of individuals thinking they can run the world. That's the problem that we have. We got to be realistic about what's going on and how do we nominate. But we're also, you know, half of the problem is also we're too focus oriented. In other words, we have a target and we think that's going to be the end, what we need to do. We have to pick our fights and we have to get on our lanes and have targets to do so. But we can't celebrate then. That's the problem. We like to celebrate, oh, we finally did it. No, we didn't. We still got a lot of work to do. Just because you got 2 senators and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have been working to defend the voting process. Shouldn't mean that you shouldn't have been fighting to make sure Stacey Abrams has a chance to become the governor in a said state. It just doesn't mean you should have been fighting in Florida to ensure that they didn't steal the votes from the guy who later on came out as being bisexual or gay. Regardless of whatever the situation was, there's always going to be tactical fights against us as the enemy is. And they're going to fight in places and in ways that we're not ready to. They fight dirty. But yeah, we like to say, kumbaya, let's hold our hands and let's pray to Jesus. Okay, that's good. Fine. Let's do it. But what else? How are we gonna attain what we need to attain? That means staying focused that the fight continues. That means we have to pick lanes and keep fighting. We can't keep talking about the boogeyman because the boogeyman is the wrong person. The person is how we empower the boogeyman. It's all the system that empowers a boogeyman to actually exist. That's what we have to do.
I remember something.
I saw a meme today on Facebook, and it had a picture of a guy leaning on a shovel. Mm-hmm. And basically what it said was, you know, God's in control, but we can't pray to him to dig a hole. Okay, we got to do it ourselves. So that's, you know, that kind of hit me. It was like, there it is, you know. So
I'm gonna pivot off of that, John. You know, the thing about it is because in the Bible it also says we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against powers and principalities.
Right.
That's the way to actually look at it. You're looking at powers and principalities, not flesh and blood. And that's exactly what's happening. The power of the vote. A lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to vote because it's not going to really matter. And that's how a lot of people go there. And look at what it did to Georgia. Georgia was upset. You know, after state, you know, they turn freaking Georgia blue. Trump calls down to Georgia and says, look, I want you to find me 22,000 votes or whatever the hell it was. That's all I really need in order to win the election. He was trying to rig it in Georgia. And then even though the governor came out and actually says there is no such thing as voter fraud in Georgia, what did they do? After Biden ended up being elected, they went back and turned around and says, hey, there's voter fraud going on in Georgia. So let's change the laws in Georgia to protect all of our citizens from voter fraud. But you just said it in the previous video that there was none.
Well, it's just like what they're doing down in Arizona, doing the recount. Now, come on, and that's just and even some of the Republicans are going like, man, this is the biggest bunch of bullshit. I mean,
It is. Yeah, and that's what's actually happening right now. They keep changing it all of these states. Look at what's going on in Arizona. They're still freaking counting ballots. Then they had to find everything from this warehouse because they had to hold a prom. So they had to put all of the ballots into a closet or a warehouse so that they could have a prom, and then they're going to move it back to finish counting.
Yeah. So the whole dealio is, because basically, even if he won Arizona, he still wouldn't have won the presidency. Okay. So, but that's kind of like, okay, well, we can get it done in Arizona, and now we can move to Pennsylvania. Now we can move to Illinois. Now we can go to different places, and and try to redo the vote. But even if they did I don't care if every state came up and said, "Well, Trump won," he didn't win.
He didn't win.
And then it's going to be kind of hard for him to run the country from jail. I don't know.
Saying the same thing. Yeah, I've been following that situation right now. I've been following that closely.
I don't know. I'm not inclined to believe that that's impossible, because too many people in jail have proven that they can do a lot.
Oh yeah, they get the mafia, all that kind of stuff, running the mafia from the jail, But I mean, like, all he can do, if he got his little Twitter account or whatever, he still can. I mean, he's not the president now, and he's manipulating. He's actually running the GOP.
Well, the GOP is no longer a party. You got to remember that it's no longer a party because it's a band of insurrectionists. That's what it really boils down to.
Well, it's still a party because you still got McConnell, you still got what's the guy, McCarthy, and
you have McCarthy, you have Ted Cruz, you have Marco Rubio. Yeah, you got your clones and your minions. There's no doubt. We know that. Yeah. But the GOP party is no longer a party. Because right now you have what they call the Lincoln Project coming up. And that's another one that's coming right behind these guys, because they're trying to take back over and to overthrow Trump. So the Republicans are going after each other left and right. Bottom line.
There's an infighting going on that people are not going to see on TV.
They're eating the young. They're like animals. They are young.
They're a system in jeopardy of falling apart because they're not showing it on TV. You're not going to see mass media talk about this situation. No. You're going to see mass media keep pushing a bunch of jargon just to push the whole agenda, just so they can have people watching. They're not understanding that governments right now are changing over. The influx of nonsense, people are fed up with the nonsense and the lies. You have demonstrators everywhere taking place all over about what's wrong. So to sit up here and talk about party politics, sorry, it's not about the party.
No, because I just saw something flash across the screen where it actually says, so you think that Biden actually got that many votes? No, my thing is, do you think that Trump really got that many votes? That's my question. Always answer a question with a question. My question is, do you really think Trump got 70 million plus votes? You tell me. Because remember, you remember this. Remember, I've just posted recently online that this one guy actually went to jail because his wife died and he actually voted in her place and for him, and they were voting for Trump. He was voting for Trump and his wife passed away, or a family member passed away. He was voting for that family member, but he wasn't Democrat. He was a Republican, and he went to do time. So if he has done it, and a few other have also done it.
There's one guy said he voted for his mother. Republican guy says he voted for his dead mother.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Man, so
let me tell you, I know there's been voter fraud on both sides of the table.
No doubt.
Republicans have been using voter fraud for decades. The minute a Democrat or somebody else uses it, oh my God, the world is changing. How horrible.
Yeah.
The devils are coming.
Well, it's
I think
it was somewhere like Georgia or Florida or something where they had people going by, like a lot of elderly people, and they were going like, "Give me your ballot and we'll vote for you."
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Florida.
know,
Florida,
yeah.
Florida is a panhandle. And that's exactly what it really boils down to because they be panhandling votes down there like crazy, to tell you the
Yeah.
truth. It's a
Florida's a gun handle. They're ready to shoot
It's just
people's
a gun
heads off.
handle. Yeah, that's a crazy freaking state. It's a crazy state, Mo. I'm telling you.
Uh-huh.
You know, remember when they was doing the ballots with the hanging Chad? You remember with
Oh
Bush?
yeah, with Bush.
Remember
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, exactly. They wanted to recount. They went to Florida. Who was the governor of Florida, and who was actually counting the ballots for who to win? Obviously, the governor of Florida was one of the Bushes, obviously, and he was the governor.
Yeah,
There goes the power again.
Jeb Bush.
And his
Yeah.
brother was actually being counted as Bush. Bush on
Well,
Bush.
Yep.
Who's going to
well,
win that? Obviously.
I lived in Florida for a while, and actually Nikki, you know, we just got married and I was stationed in Florida. And Florida is a crazy place.
Oh hell yeah.
And you know, and you got a lot of senior citizens there.
Mm.
And you know, I know one of the things that I always thought that was amazing was that as far as driving, they would either drive too fast or too slow. One of the two. And they would be running in people, and they had like down in like Hialeah. You know, they used to have I forgot what they call it. Yeah, the ball thing, you know, whatever, the gloves.
Mm-hmm.
And it would get just like, I mean, just dense fog, and it was like a big curve. Man, it was always wrecks coming in because I had to drive from Miami because we stayed in actually we stayed in Opelika, so I had to drive. That's kind of like the southern tip of Miami, and I had to drive from there down to Homestead every day and back. You know,
Prominently a black community, Opelika. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Florida is definitely crazy. We could all agree with that. You know, anytime you expect something to go off the rail, look at Florida. It's going to go off the rail.
Oh yeah. Well,
I got jumped in Opelika.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you can see everything weird that you see posted on Facebook or anywhere, YouTube. They out of Florida. They out of Florida.
Hey, look, hey, y'all can't keep talking about my home. I was born there, man, and I might be relocating over there. Y'all can't talk.
We feel for you, Mo. You know what I'm saying? We feel for you.
Just take some sanity with you. That's all I got to say.
I know. Trust me, I'm gonna be sitting there laughing at like all these folks, just like I'm laughing at folks now. But you know, the discussion, the debate that we were talking about before is going to continue. There's always my side against your side. There's always a vision of who does crime better. And that's basically it. Who is the better criminal when it comes to politics at a wide scale? Who's the better criminal? Who's the one that can avoid get caught? Who can
the ones that are, I put it this way, the ones that are in power, you know, and that's how they keep their power, by being, you know, underhanded criminal, whatever you want to call it. Those, I think they're the best. And I think that what was happening is that even like the GOP, see, they can't keep, you know, keep up with the BS. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The people were just buying the BS. Now people going like, you know, with the social media and the internet, you know, their stuff is just being exposed, you know. And I don't know if my laptop, my thing going, I see my light like everybody got dim or something. I don't know what's going on. I still got 85%, so I should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But the whole process itself for politics right there it's about the art of negotiation. Ain't nobody negotiating no more. It's about who can trick others, and that's what's the sad part about. Florida, you see it like continuously. That's probably the most southern geechee. Now I ain't gonna say geechee. That's disrespectful to the people. Forgive me. Southern hick type of backwoods individuals and the mentality.
Trailer park.
I ain't gonna say trailer park because there's some good people in the trailer park. These are backwoods. These are backwoods.
Trailer park trash. You know, there's a difference. You got trailer park folks and you got trailer park trash.
I hear you. I hear you, but I think they're just backwoods, and their mentality sometimes is it shows how they have yet to come into this century. They're still stuck in the old days. If they could hang somebody, they would in a minute. They think their public lynchings are still good. Jacksonville still have public hangings in the middle of the town square where the main bridge is over there. If they could, they would, because that's the safe haven of individuals of back in the day. You talked about how many seniors have retired and gone to Florida. That's the mentality of these individuals who are retiring. They're from the old parts of the world, so you're going to see that mentality, and they're going to keep pushing the whole concept, and they're going to spend every bit of their money to support this concept. And it takes us, the younger people, to eradicate that lemonade by doing equal, if not more. My standpoint, my whole mantra these days have been keeping the same energy. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm like, yo, match that energy or do it better.
So I tell you what, I mean, it's probably more prevalent there, but it's spreading, because I mean they've had hangings even here in Sacramento. You know what I mean?
Oh, I believe it.
And you know, and there's always the sheriff's department. They don't want to talk about it, you know, or it was suicide. You know, but come on, look. I'm not saying that black folks don't kill themselves, you know, or commit suicide, but they don't normally go out that way. You know, they ain't gonna hang themselves, you know, at least not hang themselves in public.
Yeah.
You know, in a public park, you know.
Yeah, that's clear.
Hey, Dad, I got a question for you. How close are you to Santa Barbara?
It's about like maybe 400 miles.
Really,
like
you know what? I didn't look at it geographically. I was looking at a ranch in Santa Barbara. I was like, I like that. I said, I'm about to move your dad up to the ranch with us so we can ride horses and shoot shit.
Yeah, there you go. I can shoot shit right here. Yeah. No, but you know, down there, man, it's on the expensive side. So anywhere, because Santa Barbara is just right outside of LA.
I hear you. Well, I looked at it. It's 3,600 square acres. 3,600.
Oh, you talking about hitting the super lotto, the mega lotto?
You think I ain't playing? I ain't playing. I'm hitting this lottery tonight.
Okay.
I'm flying Adrian and his family out, and we about to do.
Yeah, you talking about hitting the mega lotto?
We'll be landing on my helipad from the helicopter. Y'all gonna be flown in, and we'll have a wonderful month.
I was just looking at something on the internet earlier today. And they were talking about, you know, like a lot of the houses here, and like even in Sacramento, a lot of the they're tacking on like $900,000 onto each house. You know, for I don't know what the reason is.
Yeah, I wish they would.
Yeah. So I mean, so the median price of the houses here in Sacramento are like $490,000. You know, for a medium house. Now you get down to San Francisco, you get down to LA, you know, you're talking about, you know, especially like down in San Jose, which is right out, that's the Silicon Valley, if you will. My house, like would probably, even if it's worth 490,000, it's probably going for like 5 million down there.
Well, quid pro quo, what I was looking at was $110 million for the property.
Oh, for that property? Yeah, you're talking about some bucks.
Hell yeah, because I ain't playing. I'm trying to live. My new norm is going to be fabulous. So that's what I'm looking at.
Hey, you can get vaccinated, man. You know, Ohio have a lottery, New York has a lottery, and Maryland has a lottery that if you get vaccinated, you could be a millionaire. In New York, it's 5 million. You know. Straight off.
They're engaging people to spend money.
Huh?
I said, isn't that a trip how they're engaging people with money to try to get vaccinated?
They're trying to figure out, hey, how can we get people vaccinated? And the thing is that I came up with something. I was talking about neighbor yesterday, and I said, you're going to have a lot of folks are going to be trans-backers. And what I mean, trans-backer. You know, what I mean by that is you're going to have folks that don't get or won't get vaccinated, but they're going to identify as being vaccinated. Think about it.
Fraudulent individuals is what you're actually saying.
Right. They're trans bankers. Because see, now they don't open up everything. And it's going like with people who been vaccinated don't have to wear the mask and all that kind of stuff. Well, you got people that was never been vaccinated and don't plan on getting it, so they
Oh,
still gonna be out
they
there
claim
acting,
religious or medical reasons. Those are the only things that you can actually claim. And religion, everybody's gonna say I'm Muslim. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
Jewish
want to convert.
or
Exactly.
something Amish. There'd be some
Exactly.
reason.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the CDC screwed up when they actually came out with it. I know exactly what you're saying, John, because they wanted more people to get vaccinated, so they opened everything up and said maybe those people who are not vaccinated is going to feel kind of bad that they're not vaccinated, so they're going
Oh
to go
no,
get vaccinated. That was their mentality.
no,
But
no. It's even like they telling the kid, okay, well, we're gonna open the schools up, but we still want the kids to wear masks, and folks are just pissed off. I
yeah,
don't really get it. I don't get it. It's like my kid, if I was going to school, hey, he'd have him on he'd probably go to school with a Ziploc bag, you know what I mean? So the whole thing is just like, well, we just don't want to wear masks. That's all. They have no reason beyond that, just that we just think you're taking our rights away. We don't want the government telling us what to do. It's crazy.
you see, the thing about it, let me see, because when you say that you don't want the government to tell you what to do, when you end up in the hospital and you're looking at 2 or 3 months, fighting COVID, that hospital bill is going to be very large. This one guy actually received a bill for almost $1 million because he
Yeah.
ended up with freaking COVID in the hospital. When they have to find ventilators and all that kind of stuff to put these people on ventilators, and run, the hospitals cannot function regularly because a lot of surgeries were actually canceled because
Right.
of it.
Right.
So they make the
Yeah.
money off of surgery, and if you have to cancel all these surgeries, the hospital's not making any money because they have you in this bed, this person in this bed, and down the hallways. Look what happened to India. India
Yeah.
had everything under control for a while. You can say that, but then all of a sudden it exploded because everybody went to the Ganges River and they were actually celebrating one of their holidays. And look what happened. They came right back around the second wave and wiped them out like crazy. So
And the
now
Ganges is probably one of the nastiest rivers in the world.
no kidding.
But the
No
whole
kidding.
thing is that
Exactly.
the whole
Exactly.
thing, yeah, the
So
whole
now the
thing is
doctors are
that
telling the
with
people,
with these new variants and stuff, and we know
I knew
that
it
there's
was
going to
coming.
be more variants, and they're already talking about. Well, I think everybody's gonna need a booster shot within 8 or 12 months after getting
Correct.
the original
Correct.
shot.
Correct.
So like I said, COVID ain't going nowhere.
It ain't
So
finished with us.
so
It's not
you
done.
got folks that's running around here talking about I'm not going to get vaccinated because I didn't get the when these variants hit, you're gonna see it start spiking. Even here in California, we basically had it, especially here in Sacramento. We basically had it knocked out. What I mean, as far as getting the numbers going down.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden we're in. We have tiers here, so it's like the red tier is there's the most worst, and you have orange tier and the yellow tier, or the purple tier. So we're back in the red tier now. So it's just like folks, the numbers are going up,
This
and it's not.
said, wait until fall. Fall is going to tell you exactly what happened during the summertime.
Yeah.
You will see those numbers come fall.
And guess what? That's when they're
a lot of
talking
pregnant
about
people too.
like just letting everybody do what they want to do is in July.
Yeah, 4th of July. You're looking at 4th of July, looking at Memorial Day, looking at Labor Day. These are times to barbecue. People are going to intermingle. They're going to do whatever they want to do.
Memorial Day is going to be something.
Human behavior, huh?
Memorial Day is going to be something because now with CDC and everyone else opening the doors and telling people don't have to wear masks, they're like really aggressive trying to get out there and suck up as much as they possibly can. Everybody, like I'm seeing all the dudes come out with their cups and they can't wait to go out there to the bar and get their drink in their politicking on. I'm seeing tons of people creating these parties. I'm seeing flyers for boat parties everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Everybody's jumping on board, but like I said, there are variants out here. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and they're like, hey, "I'm not going to get vaccinated. No, I'm not going to get the booster shot, but I already took the Johnson and Johnson. So I'm not going to get." But you have 6 different variants that could actually, even though you were actually vaccinated, could still come back and get you.
Yep.
You have 6 of them, and the last one I called it. Once I saw that stuff in the Ganges and in India, I knew for a fact there would be one coming down from India, and it is. You have the Brazilian, you have the European, you have California, New York, and you have the one from India.
You know what
So,
I noticed? I don't know if
Go.
you guys see the same thing. It's in areas where you see an increase, like a spike of COVID-19. They say it's a variant, some sort of morphed variant, some sort of mutant variant that
Right.
is coming from that area. Um, every area that's seen a spike because they've recently released and given everybody an opportunity to come out and intermingle has seen a major spike. And in every area like that, the minute you see numbers go on, all of a sudden CDC and everybody else wants to claim about a mutant variant. I don't know how truthful that is. Could it? I mean, it's not to say that it isn't, because we've seen in other viruses before how it mutates. But I don't know if it's just an
You
easy
still
way of
have,
relating that type of message, or if it's actually factuals.
you
I don't
still have
know.
a
But
large
my
group
whole
of
thing is it
people.
don't really
You know,
matter if it's a variant or if it's the original. The fact is
right,
that something
exactly.
is wrong.
Yeah,
You know,
but
somebody ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. That's
remember,
all.
a lot of the Trumpers say that they're not going to get freaking vaccinated. They don't give a damn what Trump said. You know, so you still have a very large population out here. Last time I checked, they said like 64% of the population still haven't been vaccinated. You know, in
Hmm.
New Jersey, they're trying to get to 70% of the population. Right now, there's 57%. Delaware is at 51%, trying to get to 70%. So you still have that percentage of individuals that's going to go out there and intermingle with each other, and you're going to see it spike again. There's no doubt about it. So once they get rid of the mask, they are encouraging these spikes to happen. They, you know, you can't curb human behavior. They're going to do what they're going to want to do.
Well, it might, like Mo was talking about, it's just distractions after distraction after distraction to keep you from realizing or recognizing the real bullshit that's going on.
Yeah,
That's to me that's what I see. You know, but
So it is.
you know, and then like I said, people just for some reason just common sense is a wonderful thing. You know, if you got it and use it. You know,
But
but
it's not common, right?
yeah, it's not
exactly.
common, man.
That's what I was thinking. It
It's not
isn't
common.
common at all.
Mhm.
Exactly right. You know, because at the end of the day, these people going to. My thing is this: it's your life, it's your right. You do what you want to do,
Right.
but keep the
Right.
bullshit away from me. That's all I'm
Yeah,
looking
that's
at.
it. That's
That's
my
it.
thing. You don't want to wear a mask. You don't want to get. Hey, I'm cool with
That-
that.
That's it.
You have that.
Because you can't
You
teach.
have that right to feel that way, but stay the fuck away from me. You know.
You can't, I was inside of a store 2 days ago. You're absolutely right. This guy's inside of one of these convenience stores, and he's walking around with no mask. He said, "I've been doing this for over a year." I said, "Dude, you're working inside of a store dealing with the public. Don't you know that it's the law?" No, man, it's not the law. Who told you
I,
that? You know what I'm saying?
I'm mass sensitive. I'll
You
go into
know what
it.
I'm saying? He's like, I don't think no, it's not the law, and it's a stupid law if there is one. I says over 500,000 people can't be wrong to your one stupidity. You over 500 people, over 500,000 people.
Yo, there's tons of dummies out here who think they know more than what science has proven and what we've seen consistently. Dead people means danger. Hello, you know what I mean? It's something that you have to consider. But I've become super sensitive to masks. I go into stores and stuff. I'm looking at the people working. I'm seeing how if they're wearing masks or not, and I get offended. And I see it all the time with younger folks. I
Yeah,
see younger folks being
I
irresponsible.
tell you what. I've been wearing, since everything started, I've been wearing masks and stuff, and of course I don't go out that much, but when I do, I got my mask on. So, even before I got the vaccination, I mean, I was kind of like safe, you know what I mean? So I'm still gonna be wearing my mask. I don't care, if they say you ain't got to wear a mask or nothing, and I'm gonna get highly offended if somebody roll up on me and say anything about my mask.
yeah.
You know,
You just
that's the
asked
crazy
Well,
part.
you must be you must be a punk or something. You wearing your mask. Touch me,
What kind of
touch me,
it comes to that,
they
that's
took a
touch me,
poll. They took a
touch
poll
me.
in New
crazy.
York. And this is the majority of the people in New York still believe, even though after the CDC said that you don't need it, they're still going to continue to keep wearing the mask in New York.
I would too. This ain't even got to do with any virus and shit. New York City,
It's
please.
nasty.
You're too. You
Yeah,
don't know what
we could all agree with that. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. What
Well,
is
I mean, it's just like allergies and and the older I get, I start getting allergies. You
Downtown.
know, I might start wearing my mask in the house. You know, you never know.
I'm wearing the bed.
but yeah, you know, I mean, you know, it's been proven that the flu has, you know, the number of cases of flu is just gone, you know, because the mask, you know,
Yeah,
so it'll keep you from getting a whole bunch of stuff, you know.
yeah.
Have you noticed though? Have you noticed because of our behavior with the mask wise, the amount of people who have caught the flu have diminished?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, shit.
For real.
You know, Japan was like ahead of the curve. Maybe we just need to integrate masks no matter what the concern, and just be creative with it. You
But
know,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
well, they got the, you know, the pollutants and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff, man. You know,
man, it's
so
kind of
nasty ass people.
cool. It's kind of cool.
yeah,
I was talking about it earlier about this nasty ass people. How many times you seen people coming from other countries, right? And they're blowing snot rockets, you know, all in the
yeah.
But they don't have to
nasty
come from other
because
countries. They got them right here, Mo. They don't
oh,
have
we
to come
got
from
them.
other countries. They're right here. You know what I'm saying?
Lots of them.
We always thought that the terrorists was coming from overseas. The terrorists,
Lots of them.
and the terrorists was right here. The domestics.
We
The
got
Mhm.
terrorists here in our community. The people nasty, go to the
they're
bathroom
right
and
here.
don't wash their
They're right
hands.
at home.
That's a terrorist. That's a
People,
terrorist. They don't wash their hands.
people, you know, pooping and peeing everywhere, you know, in
Oh,
public. You know what I
They're
mean? You
right
know,
here. They're right here.
that's a good term to
They don't
use,
have to go
terrorists, because
nowhere.
that's what they're doing. They're terrorizing us, right? That's right.
biological terrorists.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
what they are. That's what they are. I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says "biological terrorists everywhere." Don't
Yeah.
pick your nose around me. Hell yeah, because that could be true. That's real.
You know, I saw my wife put something up there that they were burning the mask. That was in New York. And not only
Mhm.
that, they have one of those, you know, old groups actually singing Burn Baby Burn, Disco Inferno. You know, and they were trying to burn the mask, but they come to find out that the N95 doesn't burn that easily. You know, so they were actually trying to burn something that doesn't burn easily at all. But they're singing in the background, Burn Baby Burn. I mean, come on, for real.
I'm still waiting. Like me and my colleague, I was trying to get her on. Hopefully, she'll come on. Talking about masks, we were trying to support this idea of how to have an event like maybe today is Be Proud of Your Mask Day, and everyone take a picture of your mask or do something in the mask, do something, whatever it is, to show that you're supportive of one another, but your life hasn't changed. And I was like, that'd be a pretty cool idea, either a picture campaign or a video campaign. How the mask really hasn't changed your life that much. You can still live a good life. It's just
Yeah,
that you're being a lot more conscious about what you're doing and where you go. And it's,
exactly.
you know, because dad can get one made from the cool ass little you know
Yeah. The
the
kente
outfit
cloth. The kente cloth is what we used to call it back in the day, you know?
Yo, I can get some fabric shipped in from Africa, and we can hook up a fat mask to match with your whole outfit. Dad, and we
You
go
know, you're a designer and he's the stylist guy right here. Come on, man. I feel family business here. Each other.
That's the Mac. It can't just be simple though. It's gotta be fly as hell.
You know what I mean? It's just so you got to step your game up. That's all it is to that.
That's it. And you know, even a situation like my son right now is they're contemplating on going on to the to a prom, right? So all I kept thinking was, the prom is fly is good. I love that idea. I said, but I'm also including in my mind a mask. I was like, okay, how are we going to accessorize his tux with the mask so it can look super fly all the way around? I said, I got an idea. We're about to integrate that whole concept.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
and
you can
once you figure out what his fit gonna be, you can go from there.
Oh, trust me, I'm gonna make sure
Yeah.
he's tight. You know, yo, DNA, you know he's gonna be tight. That's your grandson. That's my son.
Mhm.
You know, we gonna make sure he's fly.
Yeah. That's what you got a little time so you can figure out what the fit gonna look like.
Mm-hmm.
Black and gold, I don't know, white, whatever, you know, you can figure it out.
He was actually talking about wearing a Nehru jacket. I was like, yo, I like that idea. A cool
Yeah.
ass Nehru jacket could be fly.
I know I have a couple of Nehru jackets and people was like, oh man, that's so old school. I said, yeah, but I'm bringing it back.
That's right. They never died. That's fly as hell when they died.
I'm bringing it back.
Yep.
But you know, I mean, it's like I don't. Well, you know, I mean, I used to have like, you know, I mean, I still got them, you know, like a closet full of suits, you know, and
Adrian, if you haven't noticed, go to his Facebook page. Pimping ain't the word for it. My man is got all kinds of. He got the matching coat to match with the hat. He got accessories galore. They ain't got nothing on him.
well, you know,
The
but
matching
you know,
shoes,
mostly
jacket,
nowadays I'm into my African garb, so I have a lot of like robes and
Of course.
you know, different things of that nature. And you know, folks be like, oh man, you come with that Wakanda bullshit again. You know, I said,
Oh,
hey,
no, no,
look,
no.
man.
That's
I
called
just
fly.
heard the whoa. I was doing this before Wakanda,
There we
okay?
go. There we go.
Before.
There you go.
So,
Kruger, take
yeah,
me to your house for the
and
ideas. That's
Wakanda was kind of like a boost because you know folks got to recognize what it was all about. But
right.
hey, I was doing this. I was wearing my African robes and mud,
That's
you
right.
know,
Fuck off. That's right. That's right.
cloth things, you know, stuff way before Wakanda came out.
Yeah, the
So,
thing about it is all they're really doing when it comes to fashion is just rehashing. You know, it's no different from like the music. They're just rehashing everything over again. And that's
well,
what
I
it
mean,
really comes down
Sounds like
yeah.
a one-liner. Hold up. That's another Adrian says right
to.
there. Talking about fashion. All you are is rehashing. It sounds like a
That's
good
what
one.
they're doing is rehashing. That's it
Yeah,
on the fashion.
that's it. I
That's
mean,
it.
if you think about like even men clothes, come on, they didn't change. The
Fashion
jackets
was
got
always there. The
smaller,
fashion,
shorter, or longer.
fashion and
Everybody
the
was wearing
fashion.
the Steve Harvey outfits. You know, I
Exactly.
got some of them. You know,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I have a saying, I would throw my little one-liners in there,
Oh, hold up. I'm about to start a whole
but
show. Go ahead.
but if you know if you doing you, regardless of whatever it is, you're always in fashion. Okay,
Damn! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Did you hear
always.
that? If you're doing it,
Always.
you're always in fashion. I like that. That's
That's
what I'm
it.
talking about.
If you're doing you, if you're trying to do something, doing what everybody else is doing, you're not in fashion. You're just a copycat.
Yeah.
But if you're doing you, and if you're doing you, I mean, it's like I said, people used to tell me like, "Oh man, but you always overdress." No, I'm doing me. You underdress in my standards, but hey, this is just being
That,
dressed, for the occasion.
that, but your standards are still above everyone else, and that's what
Nah,
you are as an icon.
nah,
It's an
nah.
icon. You're
No,
an
no,
icon.
no, because you know the reason why? Because the
Hey,
bottom line is this:
hey,
old
I
school
posted
rules,
some
and that's
pictures of
forever.
me.
Old school
That's
rules.
it. Old
Yeah,
school rules, and that's forever. You
Yep.
know,
yeah,
I'm looking at LL Cool J today. You know, on his one of his Facebook page, they're actually creating a hip hop museum. You
Yes.
know,
right.
for
I'm
all of the
looking forward
people.
to
Exactly. You know, a hip hop museum. We already have, the museum in Washington, D.C., hip hop museum. I remember all those guys from day one.
that.
LL Cool J, with, Rock the Bell and the whole 9 yards when these guys all came up. I
Yep.
mean, all the way back.
Yeah,
So I know who they are. I've met some of them in person also, over my many years working in an industry.
You the man.
So,
But
that's what it's about.
before we continue, I want to make sure I say hello to Miss Talara Blakely. Talara, where Larry at? He's supposed to be calling to get up on the show. Please call your son. Also, Renee Brown. Hey, Renee, she just jumped on the line. And Miss Nikki, now you know where Trini gets shopping from, me and her father. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. That's my mother-in-law chiming in to my father-in-law, enabling their daughter. Okay, anyway. But the show, as we continue, this is the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. Tonight we're speaking about quite a lot. Please forgive me if I'm stumbling on my words. We successfully completed our first batch of home brew. My son and I, it's traditionally, I just want to let y'all know, traditionally, my family has been in making our own home wine and liquor, and we just try to bounce into that stuff because my grandfather used to do it back in the day. So my son and I start working on it, and let's just say, boy, we succeeded.
boom.
Home brewing and succeeded. So I toast to y'all. But in the midst, hey, brother Larry, I see you still here. Come on in, man. I want to make sure you ferry that link. Follow that link because it's important. He want to talk about mental health in the community, and he has ideas on what he wants to do in the community to help our boys to manage it. And I think it's essential. It's required. So if you guys don't mind, when he comes on, we're gonna segue on to that.
That's a big situation there, Mo, because with the pandemic and the whole 9 yards, a lot of people are not being, put into a closet. The whole world was put into a closet and put on hold.
Yeah.
So now everybody's coming back out here and there. People are going buck wild, just don't know how to act. The crime rate in New York has gone through the roof in a lot of major cities because of a lot of people are coming out now with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
Very, very good.
I tell you what I've noticed is that, behind we talk about the mental health thing, is just how fragile a lot of people are. You know, and just you look at all of you talk about the violence and everything. Folks they just going off the deep end, man, because we are really fragile folks, and a lot of times we don't know that. You see people who basically are quasi rational. They're going off, man. The mass shootings and beatings and
Right,
uh, you know.
right.
Well, I'm
Well,
letting my brother talk. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. I want to segue over to my brother Larry Parks right now. He's certified. He's an educator. He's also a mental health specialist working in the community. He works a lot in the Philadelphia community. Larry, you're gonna have to turn down your speakers a little bit because we're getting a double feedback. So if you can, it helps us from getting the feedback.
I don't think he's even talking. I think it may be a radio or something.
No, he's hearing what we're talking.
Oh, because he ain't moving.
Larry, can you hear us?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
All right,
Now
brother.
he's
Right,
live.
there was an echo. But I wanted to just give you a little bit of segue. But with all respect, I just don't want to diminish your importance to the community. He reached out just recently about trying to do what he can do to offer opportunities for our community, working with kids' mental health issues. As we know, a lot of times the way we behave has a lot to do with how our mind is. And if we're not capable of coping with some of the issues and the hardships that we're feeling, sometimes we make bad choices. So Larry wanted to speak about it, but I'd like to segue over to Larry. Larry, welcome to the show. This is the New Norm 2.0, and welcome to the show, my brother. We appreciate you and what you're trying to attempt to do, because I know it's a valiant effort that I know you're going to bring into it, and it's honorable, and Allah bless you, brother. Oh, okay. All right, Dad.
No, I'm sorry, man. Hey, senior citizens, I missed my sabbatical today, man.
It's all right. It's okay. But Larry, please give us a little bit of specs of where you come from and what your mind is, your frame of mind is when it comes to mental health in the community.
Okay, me. I'm from there, Stanley. That's my stomping ground, Stanley Homes.
Right.
The first time I went to prison was selling drugs in Stanley.
Okay.
I think the second time I went to jail was selling drugs in Stanley.
Okay.
I graduated from Lang City High,
Okay.
but I did grow up in Augusta with my father. I came back. I graduated from Lang City High, and I left and went to a country called Yemen to live.
Yemen. Okay.
Once I got back to Philadelphia, I wanted to see how I can, make a change. And I understand living in other countries, you had to bring something to the people.
Okay.
So I went to college. I got an associate degree first. Here in Philadelphia, being as though I did have a criminal background, Philadelphia was able to help me to take that associate degree, and I became what they call a therapeutic staff support.
Okay.
What I do is I go to kids' houses, and I'm in many of the schools here in Philadelphia. I provide behavior therapy sessions with youth.
Okay.
Majority of my youth are at risk youth. They have diagnoses like ADHD, ADD, PTSD, ODD, many other behavioral disabilities, and conduct disorder. But at some of the age ranges, they are not allowed to diagnose kids as being like bipolar. So they'll say they have like a conduct disorder. A lot of my clients are also autistic. Here in Philly, it gave me the opportunity to build up a little clientele because I work for like multiple companies here. Whereas though I've been working with youth, where we go from like 5 years old. I think my oldest client was 16. Majority of my youth are in the streets, drug dealers, they gun charges, things like that. And I also worked in one of the treatment. It was like they call it placement here in Philadelphia, where kids get placed. You know, they're placed at like little jails. They're adjudicated, so they might have to spend a year, 2 years there to
Hmm.
carry out their sentence. Um, One thing I did help do in Atlantic City in June of 2019. We was able to take at least 5 kids from Stanley Homes
Hmm.
and 5 kids from back Maryland. This was at the time a lot of the shooting and killing was going on, and this was one intervention. I was a part of this intervention. Floyd Talley, he was there. LaQuay McNair was there, and the young man that do the bike ride, I was Rashad Fahim, he was there.
Okay.
We took the kids, and I had the key to the masjid. We sat down, and we had to try to come up with what they call like a ceasefire overseas.
Hmm.
um, so therefore, we tried to hash out issues or try to
The new norm 2.0.
get kids to open up at where through the problem start at. And you wouldn't believe that majority of the time these kids was out there killing each other over I think it was a stolen BB gun.
Okay. I can imagine.
So I think it was a stolen BB gun, or somebody was talking bad about somebody's father. So this is where like the killing started. So now that you look at it, a few people reached out to me in Atlantic City because they know I consider myself a behaviorist. I got a bachelor's degree. I've been dealing with kids that have multiple behavior issues for many years here in
Right.
Philadelphia. So I wanted to try to bring intervention there to Atlantic City, so that way we can try to help the youth that are having these same type of troubles.
Right.
A few people reached out to me. They have kids 14, 15, 16, and they need someone to talk to them. They the ones out there doing the killing in the city. Majority of those kids, 14, 15, 16, are still living at home with the mother, with the parent. So they commit these crime, and then what they do, they go back to the house with the parent. And then now the other group come and shoot the parents' house up.
Hmm.
So this is basically like the norm that's going on in the city because there's nobody addressing the main issue, mental health. You
Okay.
know, mental health should be the focal point of everything that's going on because someone has some type of trauma within their lives, and sometimes some of the parents are having the trauma and they pass it down to the kids because some mental issues are genetic. You
Mhm.
know, that
Generation.
they got that famous saying that be careful who you have kids by. It ain't the fact that he's not going to take care of the kid; it's the fact that he's unstable mentally and
Oh,
that might pass down.
okay.
You know, so
Okay.
these are some of the things I think that are being not looked at, especially in Atlantic City, because even with all the hype about who's running, who's voting, who's this, don't nobody address the youth.
Right.
You know,
Right. We,
nobody.
we, we hear a lot of discussion about the youth, but we see no action and no efforts to really address the specific issue dealing with the youth. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, brother. Um, go ahead and continue, Larry.
And I'm currently in grad school getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling.
Awesome. Hmm.
The one thing I talk to a lot of my peers in class about um, trauma in our low income areas, our quote unquote hood areas.
Hmm.
As you can see, there's on Atlantic Avenue, there's no mental therapist on there to give therapy to kids in Atlantic City.
Right.
One example, when Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash, there was mental therapists at his school up here, Lower Marion, to assist the kids, and that was grieving, and he didn't even go to school with those kids. So how many kids out of all the killings since January in Atlantic City that actually, seek mental help,
Right.
dealing with trauma, with family members dying, and, and all of that, this is one thing, especially as African Americans, we're not used to seeking help those ways because we don't have a be diagnosed the stigma of we crazy, we on medicine and things.
Let me ask you a question, Larry. Do you find that some of the issues dealing with mental health is because there's no real quantitative result that you can actually make with respects to mental health and dealing with kids or people in general? Like there's no evaluation that you can make that this is a success versus a failure because of the long-term effects that needs to be had. Like if this is I know working quid pro quo, I'm a social worker, so by trade. So I worked in the community and helping at times in mental health. So I understand some of the hardships, some of them, but not to the extent that you're aware of. But I saw that at times people are such in a rush to see an outcome that's positive that they don't give it the just due or the support or the resources to help with the long-term benefits of mental health resourcing or mental health services. So that becomes a barrier. Do you
I,
find something similar to that?
I can see that because I see that now. Right now, I provide ABA therapy services to kids that are autistic.
Mm-hmm.
And every day I would have the father of one of my clients ask me, well, when are you going to fix this? When are you going to fix that? When are you going to fix that? Like you want to, like you said, you want a quick result.
Right.
Whereas
We live in
though,
a microwave society.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Whereas though it takes a long time coming,
Mm-hmm.
even dealing with some of these drug treatment facilities. They're
Mm-hmm.
not really successful because they don't have no mental health therapists on staff there to deal with the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the person is a drug addict, it's just he trying to numb whatever pain he's dealing with mentally,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And that's the coping skill we use. We use sex, we use drugs, and we use alcohol,
Okay.
and now some people use violence to deal
Wow.
with whatever pain that they're dealing with mentally because and those things are a cry for help themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But what we're used to,
Yeah.
we're used to from the door when your
Yeah.
kid is misbehaving at an early age. Oh, such and such, man, he's bad. Man, he's like his dad. Man is this. No, man is looking for help
Right. He's
or
looking
looking
for
for some
some.
type of attention.
Right. Right.
And you just ignore man,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why man grew up to be a menace to in your neighborhood because the first thing you said, oh, he act like his dad, his uncle used to act like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you think it's cute, you know.
First of all, I
Go
have
ahead.
something to say. Based on what you just told us, I mentioned earlier at the top of the show about education, and you've exemplified just that, going, coming from nothing to making something of yourself and actually giving back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely want to congratulate you on your success. There's no doubt about it, and I hope you keep on doing what you're doing
Thank you.
because it's very relevant, it's very
Essay,
well needed.
essay.
Give me a minute. Call me back.
It's very well needed and it's very relevant to the community. So
Right.
just keep on pressing on what you're doing because, like I said, you are, one man can make a difference, and that's what you're doing.
Well,
Just keep on pressing
yeah,
on.
right. Essay. But I mean, it's kind of like, like I was saying before, you know, education was a wonderful thing. But see, a lot of people they got that book knowledge or whatever, but they don't put it to work.
Oh,
They don't use it. You know what I mean? And so you got to use it.
Yeah.
And with some wisdom and to work it. Like I said, I'm the type of person that I've always been that way. That I'm not really guys. Well, I got a PhD or I got this. I'm not impressed because you're not showing me nothing.
I heard that.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I'm not.
I heard
That,
that.
So you got to
that,
call me doctor. Well, I call you doctor, but
is the door open? She's trying to get in.
yeah,
That's,
you
that's
ain't
just
showing me
like
nothing.
one person that I see that just commented, Shimon Alvarez.
Mm-hmm.
Shimon Alvarez also had some type of mentor thing that was on Saturdays inside Stanley. So, but how many of us kind of sent our kids there? I know Shimon Alvarez personally, and I know that he's excellent with children. He always worked with
Working with
kids
kids for years,
and
right?
things like that. But how many of us actually sent our kids to the program that he had on Saturdays to get that extra help? Because there's some of us that's coming up in the land. See, some people don't have no fathers, or some people don't have that type of guidance at their home, to where as though they might listen to an outside source
Mm-hmm.
a little better.
Correct.
So the program he was working with kind of dealt with a lot of kids that were a little younger and things, and that's the first intervention. Even if he was able to get 10 or 15 kids and work with those, that's at least that's a start.
Mm-hmm.
But some people wait too late until where their kid is already half gone, or after his first gun charge, to say my kid need help.
Well, I just want to make a quick one here, and everybody might not agree with me, but remember the little girl that was shot not too long ago.
What
Remember
was it?
she was shot and killed. It was somewhere back east. I forgot where it was exactly,
Little girl?
but the girl, she had a knife and she was going to stab the other girl and she got shot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Florida.
Remember the
yeah,
case? Yeah.
Right? Florida?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm kind of like, when I first saw that, well, like this young lady has some issues that nobody really didn't deal with, and I think that a lot of times, we see the kids, they got like some issues. We think it's funny or we think it's cute. I've seen people post the little kids on YouTube or whatever, or Facebook, and that's a badass little kid. Oh, he's just so cute. He's just so funny. But y'all gonna have some problems with that little boy when he gets to be older. When he
Mm-hmm.
gets to be a teenager.
Right.
He ain't gonna be so funny and cute no more. But anyway, what I try to make the point of the girl, I mean, her actions, is like, I mean, obviously she was in foster care. She was in foster care for a reason. And she was probably a bad actor, and her parents couldn't handle her.
Right.
I mean, that's what I saw.
And
All right.
me here in Philly, I tell people in Atlantic City, that down Atlantic City area, I can really say that people, they're kind of spoil you, and
Yeah,
there's nobody doing bad in the city. Up
Right.
here,
Really.
up here in Philadelphia, I done been in many different schools, public and charter. I done been in many different households,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's many kids in foster care here. There are many kids that been molested, and their behaviors in school come from being molested because they don't trust an adult figure no more.
Okay.
There are many kids that I done seen some jobs didn't want to hire me because I have a criminal record, but they want to give services to a kid who mom and dad have criminal records.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to ask, like, well, how?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I didn't really understand, but I understand too that it's about money.
yep.
And the more kids that they can diagnose with something, they getting paid.
That's what's sad.
ADH.
Yeah, but
It,
you
it,
also have to remember, because a lot
it's
of the
become an
prisons are
industry.
private. A lot of the prisons are also privatized. Whereas the more beds that they fill up in the prisons and stuff, is the more money they make, and that's
Money has
what you're
been the
looking
evil.
at.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Money is a shame, because it's been an evil and a blessing at the same point in time. Because when it comes
There
to
was a
mental,
judge.
it's a trip. When it comes to mental health, it's always, no matter how much the service, how wonderful it is, there's always a question of who's going to pay for it. And in essence, I know, in my personal opinion, this is one that you shouldn't ever question why. It's more so as how much more can I do, because it's one of those type of things that how the gift that keeps giving. That's, in my opinion, that's what that does. If you're helping and supporting a mental health resource, or an event, or a service, or even a clinician that can help with mental health, it's going to pay back itself 100 times over, because it adjusts people's behavior. The behavior impacts other people in a positive format. It helps to eliminate or eradicate any bad issues or the resume and or reputation that once was had. So it helps to eliminate the overall broad stroke brushstroke that we have about people of color. So it's so many benefits to mental health being provided to people, to our children, that it's sad how we have to always enumerate it with money. It's really sad because it shows who are our, sometimes as they say, who's really your God. In this society, our God is God. Our God has been money, and that's a shame, and that's why we're suffering.
You know, the
So
thing
I
about it, Mo,
wanted
because
to,
I remember some time ago, there was a juvenile court judge that actually, was sentenced to some time himself because he was actually sending a lot of young people, just like it says,
Pennsylvania,
that had mental problems and stuff to jail. And he was just trying to fill up all of the beds, and they were actually paying him under the table.
the industry,
It was a scam that they were running. But
That
at
Pennsylvania,
was
this
in
time,
Florida, right?
huh?
Pennsylvania,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
it was
He was
on a very high level. You know what I'm talking about now?
Yep, Pennsylvania. I know exactly what it was. It's a damn shame.
Mhm.
He should burn in
so
hell for what he was doing.
so one thing I wanted to do was, and I was speaking to you about, Mo, to try to put a type of intervention in place. Um, I wanted to do at least one week a month in Stanley Homes in the center, and
Okay.
1 week a month down in back Maryland, and maybe 1 week a month somewhere else in the city, so that we can try to get those who come out, parents and kids, talk about mental health, give kids a chance to express what's on their minds, what's going on with themselves, try to help this. I think this will be a start to curb, some of the problems that is going on, because some of
Absolutely.
the youth there, they may be need help, and the only people that's showing them that way of giving them that help that they need is their friends in the streets,
Right.
you know.
Oh,
Their
the
friends in
elders
the
guide him in the wrong way. Right. Exactly.
I worked up here at a place called St. Gabe's. St. Gabe's, we used to have at the most like probably 135 youths that was housed there.
Hmm.
I was talking to one kid, and we would ask the kids, what you doing, your plans of going home and things. And the kid said, "Well, I'm going back to my block." I said, "You going back to your block?" I said, "All the thing that's going to do is lead you here." I said, "Well, of your age, you going down State Road. That's where the jail's here in Philly. You going down State Road." He said, "Well, I don't have nothing." He said, "My hood give me somewhere to stay. They make sure I got money in my pocket. They make sure I eat, and they make sure I get high, because a lot of youth get high. You know, we didn't really have nothing to say, because at that time we didn't have no alternative way to push him into, to say, okay, well, um, I can send you over here to this group home. They can give you a place to stay and get you job ready,
Hmm.
or things like that. We can send you over here. They can make sure you get a job. You can get transportation back and forth to work, and at least they give you a meal pass for a week or something like that."
Hmm.
There's no other alternative for some of the youth out here
Right.
but the streets, and they hood, or,
Hmm.
or what they call their hood. Some kids here in Philly only work in a 4 or 5 block radius, because if they go past 55th Street, they got beef with those guys on 55th. So they
Okay.
might stay in between 51st and 54th and don't go past 55th. If you ask a lot of them, have you been to South Philly? They be like, no. Have you been to North? No. I stay here in West Philly. That's what they might say. You know. So
Right.
sometimes
It's alive.
it's it's
Right.
it's like we have to be able to try to give kids something other than what they seeing every day.
Right. That is as some people call it, proximity crime.
Yeah.
Because the tendency is that people are comfortable in shitting in their own backyard because they know it's their backyard. Half of the time is because they know that within their backyard they'll be given or afforded a chance to at least make amends to it or turn the cheek, and things happen like that. But for real, but I really appreciate how you're doing it, Larry, because it's extremely important that we have access to for the kids to do that. Because I think some of the things, and this is just my opinion, but I think that there's a misunderstanding on mental health, um, the whole concept of mental health and resources being able to help people with mental health, because folks just think it's the shrink and they feel like something's wrong with you in this way, and it's not that. I mean, in my personal opinion, it's helping you to get your thoughts together so you can live a good life. That's it. Helping you get your thoughts together, put your bearings together, because when it comes to struggle and the hood, sometimes the decisions that we've had to make are specifically altered because of the circumstances or the atmosphere that we're around. And to the society around us, we may not be aware of it, and then we think it's a bad decision, but that may be the only decision that person can make at that time, because they're not given resources, they're not given opportunities, they're not even given exercises to help them think it through. You know what I mean?
That's because of, especially, the type of resources we don't have in certain areas of certain cities and things to really understand mental health and things. So now when someone say they stressing, or I'm depressed, what they friends say, let's go to the party.
Right.
Let's go get high.
All right. Let's
go
get hit.
drink.
Right.
You'll feel better.
Pop a
Get
pill.
over that person, you'll feel better. That's and then now we to the point with social media that this person don't even have no one to vent to truly without that person sharing a business on social media. So now I got everything bottled up. So I'm doing even more damage to myself because I'm bottling everything up and I have no one to let it out. Me, when I first started, one person that I talked to, Bashira Khan, she always say, I see a therapist, that's my sister. I see a therapist, I do this. Me, I used to see a therapist here in Philly as well.
Okay.
And even in Atlantic City, we got some tools in Atlantic City. Dr. Brock, he's younger than me. I call him my OG though, because I used to tell him how I go to my therapist, and my therapist don't give me an answer.
Okay.
Me being in grad school now to be a therapist, I understand a therapist is not supposed to give you an answer. I'm supposed to help you work out your own answer.
Right, to navigate to get your own.
To navigate to get your own answer. So me, I'm kind of learning that because majority time we want to have the answer to everything instead of giving that person that have the answer the tools to come up with their own solution.
Right. But with that being said, Larry, tell me this. What is your opinion about this whole concept about patience? Because we're in a society where everything has to be done. Quick gratification, quick satisfaction. Everything has to be done because the internet is showing you quick gratification. You got to flip that money quickly. So the hustle game is available to you quickly. You know what I mean? So in a situation like this where patience is necessary for you to process information, for you to develop, how, in your opinion, based as a professional, how important is it to teach patience?
I think that's number one, because like they always say, nothing happens overnight.
Okay.
Like I said, everybody like you saying, we in the time where everybody want a quick fix. Mm-hmm. Okay, you fix my bike, you put the screw on it, now it's better.
Right.
We can't put a screw on this tomorrow and it be better the next day. We just have to be patient and help it work over. I'm gonna give you another story. I was in Carter Circle, meaning at the DMV over there by the Shore Mall, and it was a young man behind me, Caucasian man, and his father, and he was going off. He was talking to the father a little way, and I kind of butted in.
Mm-hmm.
I told him about a book to get. I told him how good therapy is, how good if you seek help somewhere else. He's a student at Temple. Okay. I gave him my email address. Mm-hmm. 6 months later, I get an email. I'm like, who's emailing me this? And he wrote me this hell of a paper that brought a tear to my eye, because he said, I think God brought us together at that time in the DMV.
Absolutely.
Because over those 6 months, he started to get better mentally, because he actually started to go to therapy, and he actually started listening and incorporating in things what the therapist said to him.
Okay.
So he knew there that it wasn't a quick fix, and he was going to continue to go to therapy
Okay.
because we know I have to be patient with the therapist. I have to, try to incorporate some of the tools that the therapist has is giving me, and therefore I can try to put them in my life, and I can try to keep going and try to have a better life. And I haven't spoken to him in like 2 months, but I'm quite, he for him to reach out 6 months later was like tremendous for me.
That's awesome. That's dividends, brother.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. I've gotten a few calls tapped in every once in a while. I'll be like, yo, if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be this way and that way. So it's a blessing, man. Because in your profession, it doesn't gain a lot of gratitude, and sure as hell doesn't pay a lot of money. So when a situation comes about where you get that type of gratification,
Exactly. Validation.
yep, it validates your worth, and I appreciate you so much, brother, for doing that, man. Because for one life that you did better, then that justifies your existence, and that's beautiful, man. I really appreciate you for that, man. Because I know you and I have been talking about potentially doing stuff here and there, and you're adamant about it. I mean, your own experience alone tells a good story about the mud. You know how they say we, started from the mud. Well, your situation, you can talk about starting from the mud to where you are right now and what you're trying to do. So go ahead.
Another thing I do was I started writing my own mental health pamphlets.
Okay.
To give out and things like that. I started, doing that to try to give people an eyesight on mental health and things like that. Because is I think it's a real thing. As you know, in Atlantic City, I think we had 2 people that did commit suicide within like the last 5 years. I think it was a young boy. He was like 11.
Yeah, a few more.
Was another young lady. And I'm not sure. She probably was in 20s or 30s.
Right.
So, and the majority of the people that are jumping off the casinos, these are issues of depression, mental health, and whereas though nobody from the outside is answering us. We looking for help, but they're not paying us no attention.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing I wanted to do too. COVID got in the way. I have a young lady. I used to work at the Juvenile Justice Center here, and a young lady. She was my assistant director of the program. She was trained to do a class called mental health first aid. I think it was like an 8-hour course. I was going, I was trying to get her to come down to at least, and everybody that attend the course, they get their own little certificate, but just to be able to look at the signs of, mental health and knowing, try to figure out when you think you need help, because a lot of people need help now, but they get high or they drink or they have sex or they commit violence.
Right.
A lot of those things are them looking for help.
Right. Right.
But at the same time, they're looking for help, but they also have to seek it. Also, they have to, seek the help. Help is just not going to come to you. You have to seek after it. And that's what's happening. A lot of people, don't believe in going after it. Just like what I do. Some people, like because of pride, or the shame in some of these things. Looking bad, oh, I don't want nobody to know my business. Being a product of, mental health or something, it might make them look like if they're weak or something. They don't want to look weak in other people's eyes, but it's not a matter of weakness. It's a matter of strength, knowing exactly what's the problem and getting it corrected. That's what it's all about.
I tell you something that I notice is that, you see a lot of this stuff, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. It's all about validation. That's what I see. And I think a lot of people are on there because they, how many likes can I get? How many, whatever situation may be, that validates me.
You got 8,000 friends.
And so they're looking for, seeking help, but in a different way.
Correct.
Because those likes are the new therapists.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It validates them.
It's the intensity of validation, like Dad said. You know, the more likes they get, the more ingrained in their mind that they're valid, that they actually
Right.
acknowledge to be alive, that they have worth, they had some value to them. And it's a shame because we're in a society we are, and it's working really difficult. It's hard to navigate through this whole concept with
Yeah.
old school settings like Larry is learning and doing what he's doing, trying to be really creative and applying some of the practices and understanding some of the diversities or inequities that we have, and trying to help individuals who never understood what it is to really walk through the process of first acknowledging there's a problem to seek a solution to it, man.
Correct.
It's really
Well,
hard sometimes, man.
I
And so,
always feel, like to me, validation comes from within. You have to, I had to talk to a young lady the other day, and she was telling me that I didn't validate her. And my thing is like, well, it's not my job to validate you. You have to validate yourself. I can't, I don't know what you're going through, or what you're experiencing.
okay,
But I if you come to me, this you're asking me to to give you some help, or at least some insight or what to do. And then once I try to give it, well, you're not validating my my feelings. Well, I'm not here to validate your feelings. You have to validate your own feelings.
you have to
You,
start
If they're real to you, they're real to you. I don't know,
right.
but anyway, but that's what I see. I think it just boils down to validation, and folks is just they're trying to get these likes. They're trying to just hey, look at me, look at me, and the more people are looking at them, the more they feel like they're somebody. And I think that on the opposite side of that, when they feel like nobody's looking at them or nobody's validating them or approving of what they do, and you got some folks doing some downright just ugly nasty stuff, but people are still validating them, you know what I mean? Well, I must be cool then because everybody likes this, everybody thinks I'm cute or I'm funny or whatever the situation may be. So anyway, I'm through. Okay.
think
And I
about it,
think
Larry, because you mentioned something about the people jumping off of the casinos. I've worked in casinos in that industry for many years, being one of the youngest dealers in Atlantic City. Okay, and some of these people have some serious mental problems. I'll give you a perfect example. There was this one Japanese guy actually embezzled money from his company, believing that he could come down to Atlantic City in the casino and flip the money, and then head back and put the money in come Monday before anyone noticed. But he ended up losing the money in the casino. That guy committed suicide. You see, so it boils down to a point where some of these people cannot be helped because the only way you could actually help that guy is to give him $2 million that he could put back into the till come Monday,
yeah,
Shit.
and that's not going to happen. Okay,
Well,
so some of these problems are very
there's
deep
people
and
with
very
mental
small.
problems, and just there's some people that's just stupid, and you can't
You
you
know,
can't fix stupid.
there's different types of issues. So, to categorize everything and says, these people are jumping off the casinos. Well, they're jumping off for different reasons. Because I remember this one young kid was walking on the ledge on one of the buildings on the side of Trump Plaza. And everybody's looking at him and says, dude, just make a choice. Either you jump and we go back, to work, or you stay the hell up there and come down. And that's what people were actually saying because he was on the freaking ledge on one of the buildings outside of Trump Plaza. So that's insane. So he has some problems, but more than likely it's probably at times gambling problems. That's the reason why we also have, if you have a gambling problem, you call 1-800-GAMBLER because that's the situation right there. The mental issue is far because everybody has the different category of mental illness or mental issues or issues in general. So you have to
Well,
find out exactly what category they fit into. Because not
I can kind of
everybody
speak up.
jump off
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
building based on a gambling debt. Some people might have problems at home. Something might be marriage. It could be finances. So everything is so wide when it comes down to the casinos.
yeah, that's why we want to try to at least put some of these interventions in place, so that way we can try to, especially dealing with the people in the Lang City and the youth that is going through, whatever they're going through, drugs, violence,
Right.
to find out what issues they're dealing with mentally, so we can try to address, to try to help, better the situation with the youth. Because
Okay.
me, I don't really see nothing, for the youth like that or have been like that, especially since I was growing up in Stanley Homes.
Right.
So it helped, the people of Atlantic City, period. Like I said, I don't think there's one therapy office that provide counseling, period. I know a young lady, Tanoa, I think she do counseling and things. I don't refer to, some young ladies to her before, and things like that.
Right.
But that's us, dealing with, ourselves in Lang City. Some of us have went to school and they do want to see a change. So we just got to start, you know, allowing people to having more resources. It's about, resources.
But you know what, Larry, you identified it right there on the nose. The solution is right in front of us. It's going to take us to do it.
Yeah.
To Noah Bettis and the work that she's had as far as mental health, I really love and appreciate the work that she has. She's reached out to me.
Yeah.
Yourself, Larry, the way you're doing it. I know quite a few young people, younger people than myself, that are working to do that, to work and identify, to fill those gaps that we know exist. Because too often in our society, we're so compelled and working towards the economic development that we don't actually see that on that striving to be economically independent, that we're taking some scars and some bruises mentally, and that puts a hardship along with the hereditary issues that we've already taken on, the societal issues that we got on. And some people are easier to cope with things than others. So I applaud what you're doing, and I applaud what Noah's doing. And Bashir has always been an amazing human being on the outside. That's my sister from Kane, So how we continuously, we're going to find a solution within ourselves.
Right.
We can't rely on Superman to come in. Superman,
you know what? Mental illness, especially with this pandemic, you have to remember it starts from the top down. Because if you have a parent that's unable to feed their child or children, because of the pandemic or whatever the case may be, that's a lot of stress on the parent. And the parent passes that down to the kids. And then the kids actually absorbs that and they carry around that burden. Because I've seen a lot of kids are like, I'm worried about my dad, he's lost his job and, where we're going to get the food to eat. And they worry about adult things during this pandemic, because the adults and stuff just don't know how to hold it in themselves. So, I get what you're actually saying. I get what you're saying, helping the kids. But also we have to find something to help the adults out, whether, with their financing or, meals and stuff. Some of these people like, I don't know where my next meal is going to come from. I don't know how to feed my child. And then the kid is like 8, 9 years old. Just heard the mother actually said that. Now the kid is worrying about where they're going to get their next meal. Yes, so that's a lot. So then you try to put them with other kids, and the kids are going to make fun of them. That kid don't eat. He look like he's skinny or whatever. Now that's undue stress right there on such a young age. It's very problematic. Very problematic.
Yeah.
So it starts from the top down. And I understand from the down going up, but it starts from the top down.
Right.
Go ahead, Larry. You gonna say something?
And I said, and that's why, like he said, that some of the stress you might need, the parent might need help also. That's why I was, talking to Mo that the first thing we can do is, try to have these talks, a couple times a month and try to at least bring about resources and bring about, those, Mo in the social work field, to Noah, Dr. Brock, he's up like North New Jersey. He'll come down and everything. You got a young lady by the name of Talia. She got a BCBA cert. She's a board certified behavior analyst, help deal with behaviors and things like that. I think we have enough people, even some of the brothers in AC that maybe not have the paperwork. A degree don't tell you what type of job you can do.
Absolutely.
I tell people in class all the time, I have to get the paper for y'all to respect what I do. But that paper can't tell me how to do me for the type of people that I'm trying to see. I said I'm dealing with killers and drug dealers and drug users and things like that. All of y'all want y'all degree for y'all can do marriage counseling or something like that. Mm-hmm. Not saying that's not important. I said my audience don't want a certain version. So like I said, I think we have enough tools and just a little bit more and some zeal and things to come together. I think we can put something together to really help out, at least to introduce mental health. It's just the introduction. I just want to give you something to read to introduce this to you.
Totally believe so. I totally believe so. And one of the things I was trying to get my sister Latoya Dunstan, my fellow colleague as a counseling person, she's spearheading the Unity Day parade that we're going to have. There's a function that's going to be a cookout also on the 26th of June. And we wanted to implement tools to be able to inform the community. Larry, I want to make sure that you have all the information necessary so you can set up a shop, a table or something there, so people can become aware of all the resources and potential having a conversation. A one-on-one conversation could actually spur into something much greater, much grander. So on the 26th of June, that's what we're going to have. And I was hoping for her to come on. I'm going to get on her later. But she was going to come on and talk about it. And there's opportunities for anybody who wants to reach out. You can reach out through us here at the show, and we can do to stir that. But it's an extremely important element of what we're trying to do is to constitute something to create a foundation for people to understand that mental health is an essential tool for us to get our shit together in the city. And what we're going to try to do is utilize the wonderful people who've taken those steps forward to learn the craft and also take some of the wisdom that we have. And that's what we talked about earlier by some of the elders and the people who've made mistakes and want to teach you through their mistakes what not to do and to try to guide you, because unfortunately, the beast has taken a lot of our adults, and our children have to be raised on their own. And the way the systems are, it's really hard. It's not made. It's sad to say, but I think, in my opinion, we're more nowadays in the survival of the fittest than we've ever had been, because of the concerns and the limitations and the gravity of how society is, and even ourselves, because we've become predators on our own, and we seem to turn on one another more than we are helping one another. So hopefully that can be one tool that can be helpful that everyone can look for. June 26th starts 11 a.m. It'll be in Atlantic City from MLK over to the City Hall, and in the City Center we'll have a grand kind of a cookout that has information. We'll have vendors and everything so people can enjoy themselves and come out and be neighborly. But at the same point in time, it'll be a resource center so you can get information on things that you may need help in, and some things that you may not know that you actually need help in. Yeah. So it'll be there.
Hey Mo, check it out. If you have a flyer already made up, shoot it to me. Let me know. Give me some info on that so I can actually post it on the website. Yep. Second, Larry, I don't Larry, website, Larry, whatever the case may be, But if you could give me some information, if you don't have a website, I could create a web page for you along that it will be just a click button and it will actually take you to exactly what you do. So if you get information, some more, I can shit over the net. That's what I do.
I definitely I do that.
Yeah, Larry, we greatly appreciate you extending your time being with us tonight, because it's extremely important that what you do is important to us all. And as Adrian said before, he's always blessing us on the show and blessing the community by adding all the information that we come across on the website. So if anybody's interested in you who may not be able to go to the Unity Parade, just on a one-on-one, they can reach out and get some of the assistance. Then we're doing what we can do to be a conduit. That's what we always want to do here on the show in the New Norm. Be a conduit towards something that's good and something that's progressive. Sandy, who's working in the medical industry, helped us out many times. He just tapped in a few minutes ago. Sandy, I want to give you a chance to say what's up, man. How are you, brother? I like your
I'm log out, guys. I see you. Thank you for the time,
brother. Thank you, man. Good job. We'll take again. Yep. Thank you, brother. So, Sandy, what's up? My life is fixed, man. Nice glasses.
Okay. He's in the still zone.
Your mic is off. Your mic is off. Let me see if I can turn it on. No, he's you got unmuted.
There you go.
I'm trying.
There you go.
Having technical issues. You got technical issues, Sandy. But in the meantime, before he gets all this stuff, I really appreciate Larry for being on. Let me know when you're ready, Sandy.
Can you hear me now?
Barely. You're in the background.
Can you hear me?
Really now.
Hello?
Yeah. You got some breakup, but yeah, we can hear you.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Hold on.
Sandy's trying to work his camera so he can get the best angle. Look at him. He's such a prima donna, don't he? Look, trying to make sure he looks handsome. Go ahead, brother.
He looks like he's in still zone there.
Yeah, he might have frozen. But in the meantime, I really appreciate Larry coming on because it's extremely important. I wanted to make sure that he gets the just due time,
Mm-hmm.
rest what he's doing and what he's helping the community because I really commend him, man. You don't see a lot of brothers willing to go and dive into something so.
You know, the thing that is so encouraging, Mo, is to, he's not ashamed of where he came from, but he needs to be proud of where he's going. He needs to be really grateful for where he's going. And that's the thing. We all don't come up, with a silver spoon in our mouth. At times we have certain type of difficulties and problems in the past, but that doesn't mean it cannot be corrected. That's why they invented erasers. So, so the bottom line, the past is the past, is what you make of the present. I've seen a lot of people go out of doing time and then they actually turn it around. Remember, Nelson Mandela was one time in jail. He did some time in jail. When he came out, he ended up being the president of South Africa. There was a perfect example right there for you. He turned it around. And that's what it's all about. I see John has, John is studying. He wants to say something desperately.
I'm cool, man. Okay. Hey, when I want to say something, I'll just start talking.
All right, okay.
I just want to say, I think since you brought that up, most of us come from some kind of dirt. You understand what I'm saying? There are very few of us that are born with that silver spoon. So most of us have to, we can give our own selves a pat on the back because we basically come up from some, from some stank, I mean, and that's just the way it is, because like my brother was just on, he was talking about, I think Adrian was saying too, like I forgot what they call it, where because like you said, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, and a lot of folks forget that there's two trees involved. So but you have like a hereditary thing, like the parents did this and then the kids do this and the next there you go. So so we have a lot of that, and especially black folks, so so that's it's kind of sad, but it is. We need to work on that, but it's kind of, I think, like for my generation, like a lot of like the grandparents and the great grandparents, they didn't go to college, they didn't have half of them didn't have even school knowledge, and they pushed us to change that,
Correct.
And so but if it wasn't for that push, we'd all probably be still picking cotton, you know what I mean?
But like you said, the education is a beast because I've seen, you mentioned Facebook. You see on Facebook where, the father is a doctor, the daughter is a doctor, the other daughter is a doctor, or two sisters or three sisters are nothing but judges. You know what I'm saying? That education is a beast. And that's what we apply. We put heavy emphasis on education. And that's because we know that cannot, everything else can be taken away from us except for that. Because that
my thing is this.
Quality.
Then that's all good, and that's all cool. But like everybody can't be doctors, everybody can't be lawyers, everybody can't be judges, everybody, So I think that.
But everybody can get an education.
Huh?
But people can get an education. That's what separates us. The education. We all can be doctors and lawyers, but we could be plumbers, we could be mechanics, we could be
definitely.
Yeah.
We all have our niche, and I think we all could be good and proud of whatever niche that we're in, and unless you drug dealer or something, but I mean, but what I'm saying is, guys that legitimately make a living, taking care of their family, themselves and their family should be proud of whatever you do. I don't care if it's a garbage man, if that's all you can do, then just do it and be good at it, so that's how I see that.
But look at something, John, because he says, being a drug dealer. Remember, they were putting a lot of guys in jail for selling pot. Now, pot is totally legal in a lot of states, but the majority of people that actually own it, the black people can't even get licenses to actually
own these
establishments. You see, I know you see that in California because they were blowing it up in Vegas. The majority of the guys are selling all that good weed and stuff.
Yeah. Here's the
You know
deal.
what I'm saying? They're the white
Yeah.
people with the establishment that have the money, and the
Yeah.
black people is like saying, "Can I get a cut of this?" Because I
We,
went
we,
to jail
as
for
always,
it
we're
30
being
years
left
ago.
behind. We're being
Yeah,
left behind. But here's the
exactly.
thing, you know, like you even talking about being a drug dealer. Hey, if you can be a drug dealer, you can be a businessman.
You'll
You
be a
know,
hell of a businessman.
yeah. If you could be a, you know, I don't care, you know, if you're a rapper or whatever, man, you know, hey, you could be a poet. You could, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Take those skills and be the best you can be, you know.
that's right.
You don't have to take it and make it negative, you know. So I mean, I see a lot of your brothers just gifted, man, you know, but they're wasting their gift on some BS, you know. I mean,
Yeah, you're
that's what it
absolutely
boils
right.
down to. Yeah.
Because
Brother
the
So you
only
know,
Dominic,
it's
we
like,
have a chance. I'm
huh?
sorry, brother. I wanted to have a chance to give Sandy because he's got a lot of
yeah,
feedback
static.
in the background, but I wanted to make sure he's good. Sandy, I know you was in there. You had mentioned you had tapping into some things. You got some things you like to share with us?
Can you hear me?
Vague, very lightly,
Can
but
you
we
hear
can
me?
hear
Really?
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's happening to this phone,
you. We can hear you. It's light, but we can hear you.
but it's good to see you guys. It's good to see you guys. I'm sorry I missed y'all last week, but it was my birthday.
Oh, happy
And I
belated
kinda ended
birthday.
up-
That's why I'm sitting up here. I'm toasting to you now, bro. I was toasting you last week. Happy birthday, brother. Happy return on
Thank you.
the solar return, man.
Absolutely. I'm coming down there for that Black Excellence Festival in June, the 6th to
Yeah,
18th,
it's
I
coming
think
soon.
it is. And I'm coming down to your thing, your Unity thing,
Yep, Unity Day. Okay.
or your Unity parade. I'm gonna try to come down to that.
Yep.
When y'all were talking about the youth and mental health, what Dr. Hodges was finding is that there's more homelessness and uneducated, not when I say lack of educated youth, that need to be in a situation where they have a place to stay and the ability to learn something, because there seems to be nothing like that out here, at least for our people. I don't know what other nationalities, groups, races, what they do, but there seems to be nothing for ours, and our kids are left to the streets.
Right.
But what I have noticed in New York, that you've got a couple of these dudes that was arrested on these RICO charges and these gang kingpin charges that are coming back to their neighborhoods and trying to help the kids. And you had Kevin Childs from Don Diva magazine, Unique McElhole from Club 2000 and stuff like that are coming back and trying to get these kids to understand that that's not the right route. And
Right.
that seems to be the thing now. I mean, both of those cats did 15 and 26 years. I mean, who better to hear it from? You guys got Midget Moley down there who was doing that at least 10 years ago. I haven't seen him lately, but he was
He's
doing
in
the
the
college
Carolinas.
thing. Huh?
Midget's in the
He what?
Carolinas. He's got his own hunting and fishing club.
Oh, okay. All right. But he was doing that for a while. I thought he was helping kids still, but I don't know.
I think
That's the
he's
thing.
playing
I
as
think
an elder.
we need to say about it.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Like you identified,
I think
we got. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. You had a chance to talk. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go
Now
ahead,
I was
because
going to say.
I'm getting a delay,
I understand, man. What I was going to say is that we fortunately and unfortunately we have a lot of resources that we can draw from, information and wisdom from. People who've made bad mistakes and have come home and are still struggling, trying to make life work. You know what I mean? So I think we have quite a lot of resources moving forward about those individuals. So we got to utilize those resources when they become available. I had a young lady, Shantae, who helped me out some years ago, about good 6-7 years ago, as a young lady. She came in and spoke with the young girls about the hardships that she felt being a mother and being away from her children and all that stuff. And the more we have experiences like that to share with our youth, sometimes that's just enough to get them from making a bad decision. So it's helpful. It's really helpful. But in the meantime, Sandy, let me know when you're ready to say something because I'll turn off your mic because of the feedback. All right.
Yeah, Mo, on the same topic, doesn't Dr. Hodges deal with mental health?
She's been, my understanding is she's been working a lot to help with that. She started a program that we're going to try to support.
Yeah.
Sandy, I'm sorry that you got kicked off, man. Maybe you come back on, but Dr. Hodges, we definitely going to support Dr. Hodges.
Yeah, you see where I'm going with this, because if this young man is actually looking to partner, she's the perfect one. She's the perfect, individual to pair up with.
Right. I think in general they have a lot that they can help and assist with. I think the only difference or the only barrier they have is one is in Philly and the other one's in North Jersey / New York City.
They have the internet. That's why they have fax and they have phone.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll make sure that the connection is made, regardless what. They're part of the family now, so connection is made. So we appreciate Larry for coming on. He understands that he's part of the family now, so we'll do what we can to keep people connected. Saying that, Adrian, I want you, if possible, to reach out to the sister from the I can't remember her name, the driver. Remember when we had her come down and she was talking to us for a while?
Are you talking about yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because we just want to touch base to see how they're doing, man. Even a brother down in
I
Atlanta,
thought about it. I want to reach out to them tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and see what's going on. Yeah,
we just want to touch base with them. Yeah, we want to touch base with them because they stay family members. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he's a few hours behind us, so probably when I get off,
okay,
probably on tomorrow. Touch base. I need to know how they're doing. Definitely.
That's cool. Dad, just to give you a little insight, what we do is we try to be a conduit to businesses, and we try to make sure that businesses get access and promoted the best way possible we can. So we ran into some wonderful individuals. We caught the first African American female driver.
I saw her. Yeah.
You saw her, right? She's awesome, man. So she was doing so much, and we told her, I said, "Yo, you got Uncle Mo, you got Uncle Adrian now, so we're gonna check on you every once in a while."
Check.
Yeah, so we're gonna check on her to see if she's good.
I don't know if she's driving them anymore or she has a car, that she's racing or something. I think she's doing some kind of like PR work or something for the racing. Right? Yeah, for the racing industry or something. Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing something else. So we want to make sure that we have we give her the resources, whatever we can to help us being a resource that we're gonna do. In addition to, we had a brother who started his own. He's an entrepreneur, but also he's a creator who created his own device to be able to work in the hair industry. That was kind of cool, and I was like, we want to make sure that we keep in contact with him as well to see how he's doing. We want to try to help promote Black business or minority business as much as we possibly can. This is Renee Brown. Renee is part of the family too. She came on twice. But most of the time she's in the chat, she's sharing information. So we want to make sure the information is always helpful. Part something. There are kids who live in the city have never even seen. Yeah, very true. Renee, I applaud that concept. There's some things that we're lacking. I would like to bring together what we, myself and Latoya have been talking about as council people, is seeing what we can do to create a circle of friends, like a round table of discussions to see what we can do to garnish ideas to help promote unity in the city as well as inclusion, and to help with helping resources to help the situation. Mental health is one of them. If there's financial resources that can help, even developmental resources where people help to develop the human aspect, whether it's helping skills to develop in people who may not be aware of how they can go to develop their skills to become professionals or certified in this and that, even a spiritual help. So that's what we're going to try to intend to do really, really soon, to put it together, because I think it's necessary. Speak on, hold on, Adrian. One thing I wanted to touch on, because you mentioned about botanical gardens. I want to give this brother, Stephen Head is his name, brother from Back Mountain Head. He came to me with this idea, and I'm giving him all the credit in the world because it's just due. He came with this idea of creating garden boxes where families who have lost someone can come to these garden boxes and take care of these beautiful flowers and everything grow up in memoriam to their loved ones, and to help support the community. So we're going to try to work to try to help realize his dream or his idea in the community, because it beautifies the community. It also gives a source for people going through grievance or mourning, a chance to be able to focus their love instead of the pain, to help beautify the community and uplift themselves. So that's one thing that we're going to try to do. So I think that ties in with Renee's botanical gardens concept. So we're working on that. And it also includes employment opportunities. That's one of the things we're talking about, because there's ways to be able to garnish funds or create funds to help support not only the service of the resource itself, but the people who are part of the support system. So it's necessary. But go to Adrian, you was going to say?
Yeah, what I was contemplating also, tabling something, because you remember we spoke about this earlier, how we saw what I actually posted on Facebook with the stereo system, how I actually took it out of the dashboard. My man Bronk went to Penco Tech with me, and I noticed that he does a lot of Facebook posting. So I was looking at getting him on here. I like to get his perspective, from a mechanical point of view, as far as what his shop that he just opened up as an entrepreneur. He has his own, automotive shop that he actually works at. So I want to talk to him and see what I could actually do there. One, second of all,
yeah, tell Derek I said he's a scrub, because he knows he has access to come on.
Second, I know that some of these guys are running because a friend of mine is running for office over there in Pleasantville, Danny Adcock. So I've been in communication with him. I noticed the other guy Dorsey was on here last week. Then we have Mark Rassman and stuff. So I like, to probably put a show where all three of them come together and give people, because they're running for office and nobody knows their perspective. And yours truly, and yours truly.
That's what I'm saying. Anything. That's not saying anything.
So we like to get.
I think a lot of folks.
The public need to know where you stand, and a lot of people do not know where these people. I drive around. I see some of these people, sign and stuff, says, what are they all about? Nobody knows.
Right.
So this is the time to actually, because I believe it's coming up June 8th, would be, election day or something. So these people need to get the voices heard somewhere, somehow, is what I'm actually saying.
Right. Well, we've offered them the platform to come in to express themselves in whatever the situation is. We always tell everybody, every time I express this stuff, I said, we're not biased about it. Whatever your opinion is, speak about it. I'm not here. I'm not going to castigate you. I'm not going to come at you. I'm not going to prosecute you about anything. Whatever it is and how you promote yourself is how you're going to promote yourself, because that's what we are. We are a conduit. This show is specifically about being a conduit of what's good and progressive for the community.
My guy Dorsey, I was in Atlantic City today, and I saw his name, on a building or whatever the case may be, on some window. I'm like, oh, I know that guy, but the thing about it is, what's your point of view? That's seeing your name is one thing, but what do you stand for? And if you don't stand for anything, you're really doing nothing. That's just the bottom line. You got to stand for something.
I kind of think that, first and foremost, I truly believe that, when I talk about knowledge, self-knowledge is key, and, so I think like a lot of these kids, I think what's that thing the bill they're trying to kick out, the 1916 or something, the education program, I forgot. I think it's 1916 or something like that.
1916, yeah.
Okay, but the problem is, I think, especially in the Black community, see, we all have been taught that our history started as slavery. I'm saying that's what it is. If you go, the kids' curriculum in school is like they don't talk about us unless they're talking about slavery or coming out of slavery.
Right, American history. Right.
Right. So, but a lot of kids, they don't know or have misconceptions of what the Black history was in Africa, and what happened over there. I mean, it's coming out, but people still think people in Africa still live in huts, and you got lions and stuff running around, and you know what I mean. And so the kids, how you can, even like Black superheroes, you know what I mean. That's why like the Black Panther just went ballistic, because we ain't had no Black superheroes. Folks, look at the history. The Lone Ranger was based on a Black guy. I forgot his name.
The reality is the Black guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So and then a lot of the Cowboys
The
was
Buffalo,
was black.
The Buffalo Cowboys. Yeah,
Yeah, well, the Buffalo Cowboys, and and then you watch. I remember as a kid watching on TV. The children 7K. I remember Rin Tin Tin.
I remember
Okay,
Richardson.
yeah, but they had the seven cavalry, but the
That was
seven
before your
cavalry was the Buffalo Soldiers. They don't tell you that.
time. But John, also because I remember when I was at Harris some time ago, this guy was walking across the casino floor and he had on the Buffalo Cowboys. He has the
Hmm.
jacket walking
The
across there. And
Buffalo
I'm
Soldiers.
like, yeah, the
Buffalo.
Buffalo Soldiers. Yes, the Buffalo Soldiers. Excuse me. Yeah, the
Right.
Buffalo Soldiers. And I stopped the dude and I says, you know, you guys, it's like really weird watching this guy wear a jacket from the Buffalo Soldiers going all the way back because in actuality they were like pretty much the first state police out there because they were separating the white man from the Indian from warring. They
Yeah,
were
well,
the one that
yeah,
every time they actually crossed the line, they would have to get a Buffalo Soldier. That's why they call them that to actually
and
pass.
they were the first Park Rangers when
Exactly.
they set up Yosemite, Roosevelt.
So there's a lot of
They
things
yeah.
that was missed out of the history books,
The
because
first
I was
time.
watching a documentary also, whereas a lot of people from South Carolina, they say if you really want to find out your history and you grew up in South Carolina, head down to Barbados in the West Indies, because that's where a lot of your ancestors first started off before they came back to South Carolina. Even the
Hmm.
food and the buildings and a whole lot of the stuff derives right down
That's
from the West Indies.
Mo made a statement about the Geechees. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like
Carolina.
okay, my dad he was a Geechee, so
Yeah,
you know
Carolina. Okay. Carolina
yeah.
Geechee. All right. That's your daughter's excuse now. Okay. All right.
The pepper, a lot of the peppers and a lot of a lot of the seasonings and the spices and stuff came from down that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so if they're looking up their history, you look down in the Caribbean in the West Indies, and that's where it all started.
We have limited uh, acknowledgement of our expansive diaspora.
Hmm.
We and you know what? That's part of the tool that America has on us, because we don't have no roots, we have no grasp on things, so we don't necessarily attach ourselves to things, and that's where we differentiate ourselves as well. You know how much the debate is about people who are African in Africa, and we've been told that Africans don't love us or don't accept us, where Ghana says you can have citizenship here in Ghana as
And
well. Anytime you can come back around. You
yeah,
have
Yeah.
Africans in other countries who still know who they are and look at us and treat us like brothers and sisters throughout the Caribbean. But and this is the discussion that my wife and I had, that hatred is more disseminated from within our nation and within our communities to our
Hmm.
own people more than other people do to us.
Yeah.
We are generating so much hate amongst us that is
Well,
generational hate, and it's sad because. And then we
yeah.
look for differences. We kind of minimize people accomplishment. We don't give credit where credit is due. We have a tendency of backbiting. We're one crab's in a barrel. We have a tendency of always disassociating ourselves, and we look for reasons why we're not the same. It could be
Hmm.
the smallest thing, from complexion to hair, from religion to school, from location to job, from the type of liquor you drink to the sports team you watch. We look for reasons why to separate ourselves so much, and that's what basically is disabling our potential growth, because we're not looking for reasons to come together and unify as a community. We've been given reasons why we shouldn't be together, and that's a shame.
the
Well,
thing.
I think it's all planned, but kind of going back to the African thing now. Here, I don't know about it. I'm sure that a lot of African folks, who have migrated or to the United States. But the Africans that I see here, a lot of them, they don't like, they don't consider themselves to be like Black Americans. They don't, they'll tell you, it's like I'm not black. I'm come on, brother, you from the roots. Come on, you got. I'm looking at your complexion, and you like, they say black of the berry, sweet, black of the berry, sweet the juice. Some folks, they
You have to remember,
complexion wise, they did on the root. But but I mean, I've seen them. They kind of got attitude. Like a lot of them, they come here and they have money, when they get here, and they're driving around in their Benzes and stuff, but they look down on, on the,
But that,
the
that that
populace.
but that's not an example of the greater masses of people. That's just an example of the small individuals.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. I'm saying there are some.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably
Because a lot of
exactly.
these guys comes from nothing, from literally nothing. When you go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. When these guys
Right.
go to the bathroom, they go to an outhouse about a
Bush.
few feet away, and exactly, so they look at the Americans as being, the Black Americans as being spoiling away, and a lot of them are complacent, and that's just what I'm saying, because these guys, from Africa and from these other countries, they work, like I mentioned to Mo, they work their freaking ass off for next to nothing and then try to get to this country because they know that America is the land of opportunity. Even down in the Caribbean, when time gets hard in America, it gets worse overseas because they use the American dollar and then they actually the inflation and everything is jacked to hell up. The case in point, in Jamaica, a box of cereal might cost you $12 or $14 or $24 for a box of cereal. And that's just what I'm saying. So it's very, so these guys, when they come across it, they work their ass off to get to where they are. Whether they're Haitian, because a lot of the Haitians are going through that, that's going, the situation down there is terrible right about now. So we see a lot of things that's happening here. So the small-minded individuals, like what you just mentioned, John, does not
Mhm.
speak for the masses because a
Oh
lot
well,
of
no,
these
I'm
people,
just saying that
you know,
there's some African dudes here that's cool, I mean, but I have run across some that they just kind of like turn their nose up, they don't want to be associated with
they're the very
the
small minority,
populace.
like the Trump people. You have
Yeah,
all of these millions of Trump people that's always Trump this and Trump that, but that's a small minority right there. They're not the masses, and that's what we have to really consider.
Plus, if you think about it, if we ourselves here in America have been taught to hate one another,
hmm
how much hate are we going to put upon somebody who's not naturally from America, who's black but not from America? So they're not open. They're not welcome to open arms. Come on in, brother. Whatever we can do to help. They're treated
hmm
really badly. I mean, they're speaking about how many times have we seen an African man to come in or a woman to come in, and you see people belittling them because they can't speak the language, or
Well, or either they have a misconception of what Africa is about, so they be thinking, "Oh, you a jungle bunny,"
They had this
you know what I
what
mean?
and
their
that's
being
the
was
pictures
about.
I shown. The pictures I shown were just examples of how Africa truly is versus what
Yeah,
we consume. Mass media suggesting how Africa is. There's some areas where it's bush, but the majority is
but
civil,
most people don't live there.
beautifully
Most people don't
developed
live there.
countries, and that to me, and my understanding as I'm getting older, that's where the promised land is, back on the motherland, because there's more opportunities for us to flourish in a community where we don't have some of the hardships that we have here.
Yeah, I know several people here, black people here, who have left and moved back to Africa, and they say it's just wonderful. It had me thinking about maybe I might want to go over there, but I think because there are like a lot of cultural differences, that I may not be able to adjust to. Well, I'm sure I could adjust to anything. I think everybody can adjust to anything, but a lot of places, they were buying building houses over there, but like they didn't have like running water, or they didn't have electricity, or they didn't have, sanitary, things. But
Shit, we
you
got
know,
places in West Virginia like that. We got
yeah,
places
well,
in
yeah, it's some
like
big
that.
places
Yeah,
like that here.
exactly.
They still have septic tanks
Yeah,
and wells and matter of factly, a lot of the water that we get comes from wells, domestically, so because there's more groundwater than there is surface water. So, but anyway, to make a long story short, yeah, like I said before, I know people, and they come back. I know this guy; he would come back maybe once or twice a year or something like that, because
Uh-huh.
he had enough money that he had property here that he would at least rent out or whatever, and he come back and check up on his property and do some other stuff, but then he'd go right back to Africa, and he loved it. He, matter of fact, he died over there, but but like I said, he built his own house, and he just said it was just wonderful. It was like I guess, they have to like buy water. They have to buy, their gas and, everything is like propane or whatever. But it was like, it was cheap, so anyway, like I said, I got to thinking about it. I'm like, nah, I'm just going to stay here. I really wouldn't have an issue because wherever I go, my retirement going, so then he was like, cars were expensive, and it's best to buy a car over there than try to have it shipped, and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, he gave me the rundown. So, but I think I'm just gonna stay right here in California.
All right. Well, when I get the
And,
crib,
actually, if Mo buy the San Bernardino property, then I still be in California.
oh, exactly. But from there, we'll take the chopper and we'll fly bits and bits and till we get to the other property in Africa because I'm trying to buy the property in Africa too.
You better get a big helicopter, man, because I don't know if it'll make it.
I got you. Trust me, I got you.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of surveying.
You just skip the chopper and get a Learjet.
Well, chopper's a lot easier during the be able to do it, but Learjet they cost a lot more for gasoline, so it's all good. But I got you. We're good. But I wanted to make sure because you know what. The ongoing discussion that we've had a couple times, like my wife and I've been talking about, is, and I'm coming into realization that sometimes the issues that we're facing are the ones that we're the one creating, because of all the hatred that we've manifested upon ourselves based on how the oppressor has treated us so badly, and we have not gained the understanding of how to let go of it. It's just second nature for us to treat people in a way that we think. Or the way we've been accustomed to treat one another.
We've been taught.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a comforting thing to people who are coming in here who are not aware of the hardships that we are, who are not really aware of those things, but they feel like they've achieved something, be able to come into America. America is still the land of dreams for a lot of people. But if you come here and you're looking at people that look just like you, or close to you, and they treating you bad, then you're not going to necessarily feel welcomed. So we have to do some self-analysis as a community. We have to look at things in a more realistic way, in a more grandiose way, and to see how, as universal neighbors, maybe we got work to do.
Yeah, well, I think that my thing is that a lot of the people they like. And it's like they do, there's, the people from the Mexicans, like, oh, they come and take your job. They come and take your job. Well, no, they ain't taking your job. They taking jobs that nobody would want, to do, I don't think I've seen those guys like working in the fields and stuff, and I mean, that's a job I don't think I want to do.
Right.
And even being a house servant or something, cleaning up people's toilets and stuff. I don't think I want to do that, but they will do
John, the thing about it is, coming to this country, you have to start somewhere.
Well, I understand that, especially if you come in and you can't speak the language. Yeah.
I'll give you an example because, like I said, I came from the West Indies. We didn't start with a lot, but my family, we worked our way up the ladder. There's no doubt about it. And there was no shortcuts here. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, one. Second of all, it's like the young lady that actually, won Miss Universe, I believe, from Mexico. And what happened, the first thing, she won the contest, Miss Universe, next day, she says, I'm in America. I'm staying here. I don't want to go back to Mexico. She says, I'm moving to New York. I love New York. I want to stay here. You see, because she knows that Mexico is hell over there because everybody's trying to get here. So she used the pageant to get to this country. And she's like, look, I'm applying for citizenship. I don't want to go back. I want to stay right here in America. So this is what's happening. So America is still a land of opportunity, despite America going through hell right about now.
Yeah.
People are still dying to get over here.
Yeah. Most of the people that are trying to come here are, not more or less because of the land of opportunity, but it's a land that they can get away from some of the crime and things that's happening there, because their life is in danger. That's why they coming here. Because if they was happy where they was, could live their life and do whatever they was doing where they're at, they wouldn't want to come here.
Exactly.
Let's talk the truth. In politics here, if you don't vote, you looked at somebody differently. Over there, if you don't vote, they'll kill you and your children and the rest of your family.
But a lot of these people are also running away from the cartel. because the cartel
Yeah, that's
run
what I'm talking
drugs and all
about.
that
Yeah,
kind of stuff from them bad boys. You know, they will kill you. They will kidnap you, hold you for hostage. You know, and your family's got to pay. You know, 12, 20,000 or whatever the hell the case is. You know,
Right.
just to get you back. You know, it's hell. They kidnap the parents. They kidnap the kids. So you want to escape from that nonsense.
yeah.
You know,
So,
to
and a
look
lot of
for
the
better,
people,
a
if
better
you think about it, a lot of those coyotes and stuff that are bringing this, people
coyotes are
in.
notorious for that.
Yeah,
Yes, they are.
they don't do that for free.
Of course not.
They charging them some money.
Yeah,
It's big money.
Yeah.
yeah, it's big money business. You know, smuggling is a big money business, no doubt.
That's why you see the trafficking, sex trafficking from other countries. It's a big business as well, and that's why we have to be realistic. Our own dysfunctions and our horny ass ways have a tendency of adding issues in other worlds, in other places, in other countries. Because if we weren't so damn horny looking for whatever we're looking for, there wouldn't be a market for these kids to be transported and or trafficked the way they are. And it's really sad. You talked earlier about Native Americans being snatched up off of the coast of Mexico, and it's huge. And then you see it. You'll see a lot of the American girls being shipped over to Europe or in
Prostitution or yeah.
and you see child trafficking in Russia. You'll see it in South Africa, and it's a shame because these nations aren't third world in media, but they have a lot of advantages that we don't necessarily have. But what we have is oligarchs and millionaires and billionaires willing to buy your children so they can be some nasty ass freaks with these kids. As long as you have poverty and greed, you're always going to have a market for that shit. That's a shame.
And remember,
Well, hey,
and drugs is the big
hey,
thing.
it ain't no kiddie show here in the States,
Right.
because you got a lot of it going on. I've seen like, not that I'm on these Pornhub shops and nothing like that, but I mean, it's like, you go on the internet and they have like, I think it was places in Russia where they have guys like standing in line, like everybody like here would go to a peep show or something like that, but they standing in line to have sex with, some little girl, you know what I mean? And
You
and
have
I go
that.
like, how nasty is that?
You have that right off the border of Mexico. There's
You
I
know,
think it was Vice that did about prostitution around the world. You see it in India. You'll see it in different places where poverty is high. Prostitution is an
it's the
avenue
oldest
for some people to
profession,
make
bro.
money. It's sad, man.
It's the oldest profession on the planet. It's the
What's
oldest
that?
profession. It goes all
Who
the way
had
back.
that song called "Shake Your Money Maker" or something?
It's the oldest profession, but you also, according to the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, those guys see a lot of drugs coming into the country,
Mm-hmm.
every different way but loose. But what's heading back out is nothing but guns. To finance a lot of the stuff that's going on. Down in South America, the cartel. These guys love their weapons.
Yep. Yep. Well, guys, it's now almost 10 minutes to 11, and we want to make
Oh,
sure.
good grief! Well,
Yeah.
of course, it's not that late here. So, but
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right now it's what, 7, almost 8 o'clock.
yeah.
Okay.
What time my Mickey Mouse says 7:49.
Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that we make sure we tune off right now because we want to try to encapsulate as much time. But we appreciate the fact that we had so much interaction this evening. We had a lot of the good discussion on the panel. We appreciate everyone has come on the panel. Of course, my man Adrian, always got love for him, and my dad John coming in showing the wisdom, and the brother Sandy coming in, and Larry coming in, and who else did we have? Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. So for tonight's guest, we appreciate everyone coming in. But we were very active in the chat room also. There's a lot of discussion and people watching. So we appreciate your interaction with us here in the new norm because it's extremely important that we get our point of view listened to and heard. And your point of view is extremely important because in us listening to it and watching it, we're getting to understand how people think. And it gives us empathy or gives us sympathy and understanding how the world is struggling. So we're all going through some hardship. So we appreciate it. So in closing, as we always do, we give everybody an opportunity on the panel to say a few words or promote whatever it is they like to promote. And Dad, I'll give you the floor. Promote whatever it is that you like to promote or say what you'd like to say.
Nothing spectacular, but I just want to say, pay attention, keep, and be safe, man, and that's about it.
Absolutely.
Be safe, be blessed, whatever.
Absolutely.
But you have to bless yourself.
Bam. There we go. There we go. Bless yourself as much as you possibly can. At
There
least
you
it
go.
don't hurt you, right?
That's it. That's it.
Brother Adrian, the platform is yours. Any few words? Anything you like to promote?
Yeah, like I've always said, when it comes to the vaccine, it's your right, it's your life. You make the choice. And it's very simple. You make the choice. The choice is yours. It's your right, it's your life. But in my own words, like I always say, Mo, be positive, but test negative. That's
there you go.
That's what
That's
we
what I
always
was looking for.
Bam.
My old mind just couldn't bring it up.
Hey man, we're all in line. It's Adrian's words. We copyrighted that stuff. Make sure everyone knows about it. But we greatly appreciate you coming by tonight on the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. It takes us all as a community to understand one another as we move forward in this thing called life. We appreciate everyone that stopped by. We're hoping that you stop by further. Please go by our website at www.thenewnorm.club. You're welcome to come visit us on the social network and see us on the Twitter at the New Norm 2.0 or at the Instagram New Norm 2.0 or here on Facebook as you're seeing us now, or you can go by Patreon /Patreon / the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado and show us some love, or at least let us know that you came by. Either which way, like, share, and subscribe, and share. And never forget, we're here for you. It's all about a family thing, and we thank you for the evening. And as your host, I wish you the best. God bless. Until next week, we'll see each other then.
Have a good night. Have a blessed weekend.
All right.
Take care, folks.